No one would have ever guessed that nerdy-looking Songbin Cha is actually Neon Mask, the internet hero popular for punishing violent, bullying teens on ViewTube. He won't rest until he eradicates every last delinquent in the country. Can he stomp them all out with the help of his bodyguards, or will they come back stronger than ever? The story begins with a news reporter explaining that ViewTube, the most popular video sharing platform, has recently received criticism for one channel gaining worldwide popularity. This channel has over 10 million subscribers worldwide and generates around $90,000. They have a ranking system for bullies and offer rewards to make them fight one another. The live stream soon starts and Neon Mask greets his viewers. Currently, they are in front of Taehwa High School, ranked 28th in the country. Today's targets are Hyunti Kim, bully rank 332, worth $450, and Sangil Choi, bully rank 120, worth $630. He tosses away the small fry and shows the viewer about today's main target, Myong Yu, bully rank 58, worth $10,000. He's here today to film Taemin taking down several bullies at once, but Taemin got knocked out in one punch. Neon laughs at him. Earlier he was talking about taking down the whole group but got defeated already. He picks up Taemin and asks if he's going to pretend to be trash. Myong calls out Neon and says many students came at him but regretted it. He's going to rip off that mask and smash his head into pieces. Neon wonders from where all the students crawled out. Neon suggests they take the reward for defeating Taemin and eat ice cream with it. However, this irritates Myong even more, and he orders his minion to rip off his mask. Neon acts scared and wonders what he should do. He remembers it and asks his moderator to help him. The bullies look behind and see a girl has smashed one of them. They wonder if she really whacked him with a maths book. She dashes toward them and quickly deals with 3 bullies in one go. Bullies, horrified, wonder why she's giggling to herself. While her moderator is dealing with bullies, Neon thanks a viewer for donating $45. He isn't in the mood to hunt today personally, but these bullies thought about challenging him. So, he's putting a reward on these losers, $900 for beating a lower-rank bully and a triple reward for beating a high-rank bully. Everyone has a chance to earn them some cash today. Some bullies think Neon Mask has gone crazy and they run for their lives. Neon laughs at the small fry running away. Myong, frustrated with his BS, charges at Neon. However, Neon lands a counterpunch at him while his GoPro is still in hand. He sets up his GoPro and tells the viewer that real fun is going to start soon. Neon slides down and kicks Mayan in the feet. He starts punching him in the chest and breaks his finger as well. The reason he's doing this is because he got a tip from a female student for assaulting her. He got away because he's a minor and should consider himself lucky. However, he can't bear trash like him, and today he'll teach him the meaning of fear and pain. Neon shows the bully's face and says a lot of people have suffered because of this loser. From now on, he'll eat 2 hits per $1 donation. Not only that, the victim's treatment will be made through today's donation and his own money. Money starts rolling in like crazy and Neon thanks his viewers for their generosity. He then takes out his steel knuckles and says it's party time. He starts beating the bully mercilessly, and his moderator thinks he's doing it again. The bully begs him to be spared and will apologize to everyone. However, Neon laughs at him. Apology is no longer an option for him, only pain awaits him. The moderator stops Neon from going any further. Myong is knocked out and the stream's over. Neon agrees and warns the bully if he hears him getting revenge on students or being rude to others, he'll come back and chase him even in the afterlife. Neon tells the viewers that everything is good now. He hears the cops coming and thinks he'll be screwed if he got caught. He is going to end the live stream and they should like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Please, also do this for my channel as well. Anyway, onto the story. Neon tells them the clothes worn by the moderator today are available in the store. Click the link below to buy them. The stream ends and Neon rests in a park. He removes his mask and puts on his glasses. He sees his moderator, Jihyo, coming from the corner. She helps him take out his jacket and he thanks her. They look like a completely different person without masks. Jihyo finds it hard to believe that Neon Mask and him are the same person. He should have invited other mods as well to wind up quickly. However, Neon explains they have exams right now. Jihyo smacks him and says she also has exams. Neon replies that she'll do fine even if she doesn't study. She hands him over the torn hoodie and says it's expensive and they couldn't afford another one. Neon tells her not to worry as someone will sponsor them after today's live stream. They will get various brands of clothes as they can't fall behind the trend. Later, Neon goes to his home and enters his room, and he has multiple play button on the wall. He turns on Alexa and gets a message from Manager Park. He congratulates him on today's livestream and has also sent information about bullies in the nearby area. He also reminds him to pay for it later. Neon comes out of his shower and sees a live video about the bully crime rate in his area. He looks at the building in front of him, clutches the towel, and thinks he'll make those people pay for what they did to him. The scene shifts to the school Neon is attending. Neon, whose real name is Song, looks at his scorecard. His friends ask that he looks like a nerd, but his grades are bad. Song scratches his head and says he doesn't understand it himself. His friend tells him not to worry, as people can still get by without good grades. He can give ViewTube a try. There are channels where kids sit in front of a camera and study in silence. Since he looks good without glasses, he could be popular. A bully suddenly comes from behind and smacks him. He makes fun of them for thinking about streaming. The bully grabs Song's hair and asks if he's the transferred student. He tells him to know his place. The bully soon leaves him and chases away the students looking at him. Song helps his friend get up and can't believe there are bullies in a good school like this. The bully is going crazy and smashes a student's phone. Song's friend says Neon Mask may not bother taking him down as he hardly counts as a bully. However, Song adjusts his glasses and says Neon might show up one day. At home, Song is lying on his couch and wonders if he should pretend he got a tip-off and beat that bully. Soon, his moderators arrive with food to party. They start barbecuing while Jihyo asks why he needs a welcome party when Song keeps changing his home. The manager tells her to think of it as a company dinner then and asks Siha to give him the protein shake. The moderator puts up a pile of meat and tells Song to eat up. He earned a lot this month thanks to him and is looking forward to earn even more next year. Jihyo asks how much the channel made this month, considering the brand partnership. Her friend tells him a lot and Jihyo demands a raise. Siha shows them the new tear gas he bought with the money, but Jihyo tells him to put chemicals away from the table. Everyone enjoys a good time and Song says he's going in his room to rest for a bit. Inside his room, Song looks at the picture of his long-gone family. Suddenly, Jihyo comes inside and asks if he has gathered data on the targets. Song replies he has completed it and he'll start streaming as soon as he chooses a fourth mod. Jihyo asks about his plan after crushing the troll fam. Song replies he'll fund the college fees for his moderators, editors, and other students. Jihyo comes toward him and puts on his helmet. She then smacks him on the head and asks about what he'll do with himself. She highly doubts he'll do anything after getting revenge on troll fam. Neon cheers up suddenly and says she's so mean right now. Jihyo, irritated, grabs his mask and says he seems he has nothing to live for. He shouldn't act so lenient in this country. However, Neon says when the day comes, he'll start a burger franchise. He'll throw all the bullies into a dedicated prison, collect their shit, make burgers out of it and serve it for lunch. Jihyo finds his explanation too gross. Thanks to him, she'll now look at the burgers differently. She calms herself down and advises him to start a new life after destroying Trollfam. It's none of his fault for what happened to him, but the bullies are to be blamed. Neon says there are still many bullies in this country and many innocent lives are put in danger because of them. She doesn't have to worry about him, as long as a bully remains in this world, he'll be there. Jihyo tells him that Park is buying ice cream for them and would like to join. On hearing ice cream, Neon gets all happy. The scene shifts to some thugs talking to the shop owners for leaving marketing to them and how they could earn loads of money. However, the man refuses his offer. The leader smirks and tells his boys to leave them alone. He gives the owner goodbye, but the owner says he will call the police if he comes here again. The thug talks about setting fire to the shop and snatching it from them. The other man agrees, the location is good and they could earn good money. The leader says their son is in high school and his name is Sumin. They need to find out in which school he goes. The scene shifts to someone buying a Neon Mask meal. Turns out, it's Neon himself. He's talking with his moderator about this new product on the phone. He steps outside the store and thinks it has been a year since he started the Neon Mask channel and it has grown a lot, but the troll fam is still going strong. To limit their influence, he needs to make an example out of them. While walking towards his home, he hears some noise coming around the corner. He inspects the noise and finds bullies ganging up on a student. The bully tells him to quit the tough guy act and change his hair color in 5 minutes. However, the boy punches the bully and he crawls in agony. Soon, a fight breaks out between the Sejin and the bullies. Song looks at the symbol and thinks they might be Sandro's high school goons. He starts a live stream and tells his viewers about an anonymous tip he received about bullies ganging up on a teenager. The viewers make fun of the bullies for not winning a 5-on-1 fight. Some recognize those bullies from their neighborhood while some think they aren't even worth 2 hot dogs. Song thinks that this red-haired guy's strength and balance are pretty good. A bully suddenly pulls out a knife and swings at him wildly, while Sejin does his best to dodge it. Song is amazed at his capability to dodge attacks without even looking. Sejin finally smacks the bully in the face and sends him to the ground. Suddenly, the fatty shows up and asks why they are still fooling around like that. The bully says that boss Myongsu came. Song thinks about the name and remembers him to be the loudmouth from Sandro High. He's all talk, so there's no need to worry about him. Sejin wonders what that bastard is doing here. The fatty looks at Sejin and tells his lackey to get the rest of his gang here. Sejin scoffs at him and fatty asks if he thinks of this as a game. He tells the fatty to get his ass down here so they can talk. Fatty gets frustrated and goes to punch him, but his friend holds him down. Song gets happy that viewers will see something more entertaining, while Sejin thinks that the fatty is not taking the bait. Soon enough, Fatty's men arrive on delivery vehicles. Fatty makes fun of Sejin. He can't wait to see him go to school in a wheelchair. Sejin is surrounded by vehicles all around and thinks this is getting out of hand. The man near Fatty is curious about who the guy behind Neon TV is and thinks he could be nearby. He's streaming all of this live, and if Daman finds out you called other guys here, he'll be pissed off. He shows him the live stream of them. Sejin finds it amusing and thinks he has become a celebrity now. He tells the viewers that this fatty is the biggest pussy in the country. Annoyed, Fatty tells his boys to gang up on him and also find the guy recording them as well. The man points in the direction they are being filmed and viewers say Neon is in great trouble now. Song ends the live stream and says he'll catch up to them next time. On the other hand, Sejin slams the fatty in the face. He talks about ordering some chicken at home and will see him later. At the same time, Song is running away from his pursuers. He parkours over the building and hides himself when bullies ram the road. Song leaps over and grabs the last man going through the alley. He chokes the man and renders him unconscious. Song takes his mask and hat and disguises his face. On the other hand, Sejin is running away from the bullies. He breathes heavily and thinks he managed to shake them off his tail. But, the bullies find him and speed towards him. Suddenly, someone throws a box at a man. It's Song who starts throwing multiple boxes at the bullies, knocking them off the vehicles and making others stop in panic. Sejin wonders what happened there but considers himself lucky. Suddenly, the fatty with an ugly face comes at Sejin from behind. He tells Sejin to pay for what he did earlier. Song parkours the building and kicks the fatty in the face. He tells Sejin to follow him. Sejin looks startled and sees more pursuers coming from behind. Left with no better option, he decides to follow the stranger. The bully spots them running down the stairs and Sejin wonders just how many men they have. Song says he has seen 20 guys so far, and that's not even a third of all the guys from Napagu. Sejin asks what's Napagu and Song explains that it's the name of the bully's business. It's an organization created by a gangster called Daman, so it's not a real business. They target spots popular with students and roam around the area while claiming themselves to be a marketing firm. However, it's all an act. Their main way of collecting money is by threatening students and store owners. If any store rejects their offers, they harass the customers of that store. If a store accepts their fee and hires their service, then they force students to use those shops. Sejin says it's outrageous, but how does he know all of this? The bullies surround the boys and Sejin complains why he brought him through here. The man tells his boys to bring those students to them. Song tells him to take on the left side while he takes care of the right side. Sejin sees bullies coming from two sides and asks which side should he take care of. Nonetheless, he smashes whichever came first. While smashing bullies, Sejin says following him was a bad idea. They start beating the bullies left and right. Kicking them, punching them, pushing them away. Song tells him to run as this is their chance. They finally shake off the bullies and breathe a sigh of relief. Sejin thanks him for getting him out of the mess. However, Song just goes into the corner and vomits. Sejin asks if all of this was too much for him to handle. Song explains that whoever wore this mask had terrible breath. These bullies smoke without exception and don't even brush their teeth. Their breath stinks of shit and Sejin can't stop laughing at this. Song thinks this guy isn't all guts, he's got great instincts and is pretty strong. Most importantly, they fought well as a duo. Sejin hands him a drink and tells him this one on him. Sejin asks if he looked like Neon Mask back there. He compliments Neon Mask's fight in the last stream. Maybe he'll give him an autograph if he takes down bullies. Song asks if he's familiar with that fatty back there. Sejin explains they go a long way back. He was being an ass to the students in his school, so he beat his ass and now he's hunting him. Song asks doesn't this means he's a bully himself? Sejin says that would be the worst thing for him, that's for the attention seekers who got no love growing up. Song laughs at him and Sejin asks what is so funny about it. Anyway, Sejin thanks him for helping him today and introduces his name. Song also does the same and shakes hands with him. Before leaving, Sejin wishes to buy him dinner the next time they meet. The scene shifts to Napagu hideout, where the bullies are assessing the damage of their vehicles. The fatty is bowing in front of Daman. Daman says he ignored T-Seep's warning and got his minion dragged into his personal mess. Even if they pay for the hospital bills themselves, he'll need to cough up the repair costs for 21 of the 60 bikes. Those bikes are currently out of action, which means they will have to cease their activities for 3 days until they are fixed. Fatty tries his best to explain that he couldn't let a bunch of teens disrespect Napagu. However, Daman says those kids aren't the issue. The main problem is what the troll fam will think about him and Napagu. Daman, with cruelty brimming all over his face, brings out the belt. Fatty begs him to be spared, but Daman tells him to block the hits. If he got hit in his head, then he's as good as dead. The scene shifts to the manager Park talking about Sejin. He's a bit obnoxious but has a good reputation. Since Song asked to look for him personally, so he might be considering him for a mod role. His mods are like personal bodyguards, whereas editors are more like hired hands. Physical strength is an important factor for both roles, but mods also need good self-control. He cannot trust someone who will give away his identity. Hired hands are just in it for money and they only need to be good at fighting. As for Sejin, he has the right technique, instincts, and personality. He'll observe him now to see if he has the self-control required for the mod. Before leaving, he tells Park to keep investigating Napagu. At the school, Sejin greets his friends. The boy asks if he checked his message. He was on Neon's stream yesterday. Sejin, happy, asks if they saw the stream. His friends compliment how cool he looked yesterday, and they can't wait to tell Sumin about it. Sumin enters the class, and his friends ask what happened to his face. He replies that he just fell off the bed. However, Sejin thinks that something else might have happened to him. On the other hand, Tae tells Daman that he dropped the fatty in the hospital. Daman tells him to get the bikes fixed by tomorrow or he'll be good as dead. After school, Sumin is walking home. Daman, who has been waiting for him in the alleyway, calls him. They surround Sumin and talk about his parents making loads of money through their shop. Daman smiles and asks if his parents changed their minds about their proposal. Sumin acts scared and Tae smacks him from behind. He puts his arm around Sumin and tells him to behave like a good boy. He should not make things harder for them, as his parents wouldn't like to see their child get hurt. Sejin comes around the corner and sees the bullies harassing him. The bullies asks if he's this loser's friend. Sejin demands to know what they are doing with Sumin. Sejin asks if they are from Napagu and the bully tells him to run away before they beat his ass. However, Sejin punches the bully and kicks him in the face to put a cherry on top. Another bully comes from behind, but Sejin smacks him as well. When the boy tries to get up, Sejin slaps him again. Tae tells Daman that he took fatty yesterday. Daman, frustrated, walks towards him. He asks if he beat his boys yesterday and Sejin agrees. Sejin asks if he is the Napagu top dog, and Daman introduces himself, saying he's from Sandro High. Sejin makes fun of him. He skips classes but still mentions his school name. It seems like he watches too many movies. Tae asks if he should call more boys here. Sejin laughs at him and asks if he's scared to settle the score one-on-one. Tae curses Sejin while Daman stops him, saying this boy is just talk. Sejin, feeling generous, offers them 2 options. First, he doesn't beat them up and they can leave, or he can beat them up and then they can leave. Daman asks why should he even consider his offer. Sejin walks past him and says cause he's stronger than him. However, Sejin pats his back and says they could settle this like real man, and not fight over it. If his boys hadn't picked a fight with him yesterday, nothing like this would have happened. It's best to not drag this out anymore. Daman puts his hands on Sejin's shoulder and says he has more guts than his guys. Daman leaves and advises others to leave him as well. Sejin sighs and thinks Daman at least has a few brain cells. Sejin asks if they are harassing him because they want his parents' store. He should have told him if something was bothering him. Sumin says he doesn't want to drag him into this, but Sejin tells him they are best buds and he should help him. Sumin tells Sejin to forget about what happened and have some food in his place. He'll also pack some food for his parents as well. At Napagu's hideout, Tae asks if he'll leave that punk alone. Should he send some guys to teach him a lesson? However, Daman tells him that their priority right now is to recover from their losses. He should focus on fixing the bikes before Trollfam finds out. As for that punk, he'll tear him piece by piece. Later, Daman is sitting alone and his friend comes in and asks if he's skipping school again. His teachers will be mad about it. Daman says he should worry about his own, as he beat his parents and teachers. Without a shame in the world, the boy says it was awesome. Daman asks if he could go around and beat somebody for him. The boy understands what he means and asks if he's referring to the red-haired bastard Tae was talking about. However, Daman says he isn't the target but someone else. The scene shifts to Song buying something from the shop, and the store owner is looking at the Neon Mask video. Neon explains his reward system to those visiting his channel for the first time. If they record bullies in action and post their details on social media, they'll put a price on their heads. Then they send rewards to the skilled teen fighters from various parts of the country, who send videos of them beating the bullies. They have to fight fire with fire, and if there's a bully nearby with a price on their head, go for it. The reward is for them to take. Sejin comes into the store and greets Song, asking if he lives nearby. Sejin talks about his encounter with Daman over a meal. Ever since he scared Daman away, he hasn't shown up yet. He was thinking about taking down their business, but now he can leave that up to Neon Mask. However, Song advises him not to get involved in this any further. Sejin says he doesn't fear anyone as he's strong enough to deal with anyone. Song, serious, tells him to stop getting himself involved for his and his friend's sake. One day after school, Sejin is walking along with Sumin. Sumin tells him not to worry about him as those bullies stopped showing up. Sejin chuckles and says he's just tagging along to eat food at his place. His dad also mentioned he could eat for free, but Sejin says he must pay to maintain his pride. Sumin tosses him a can of soda and Sejin catches it. Suddenly, he sees a man with a bat in his hand speeding past him. He looks at Sumin and finds his broken glass lying on the ground. On the other hand, Song is walking home and he gets a call. His manager informs him that Sejin's friend was attacked. His broken glass didn't damage his retina or nerves, but he could have easily lost his eyesight. The parents complain about those bullies doing this to their son, and the police inform them they are carrying out an investigation. Sejin looks at his friend lying in the hospital with both of his eyes covered in bandages. He smacks the wall and curses Daman and Napagu for doing this. Song finds Sejin and asks if something's bothering him. Sejin says this is perfect timing. Could he tell him where the Napagu hideout is? Song asks even if he tells him what will he do. They injured his friend, so he'll kill those punks. Song tells him to shut up, he can't beat them. Sejin, dazed, grabs Song's shirt. His friend almost lost eyesight and he's telling him to sit idle. Song says those bastards don't care a bit about him. He already told him not to get involved in this matter for his friend's sake. Those bastards would be quite happy about what happened to his friend. Those guys would be considering him losing eyesight as a jackpot. They would be making fun of his parents' misery and believing themselves to be cool dudes for it. Those bastards don't know what losing is. They won't stop until they have given up one day or are beaten to the brink of death. These bullies are like pests, psychos driven by fun. That's why Sejin, you can't beat them. Sejin, annoyed, asks what makes him so sure about them. Song grabs his hands and asks if they should test it then since he's a psycho as well. The scene shifts to Neon greeting his viewers as suckers. Due to popular demand, they'll be interviewing their very own angel of violence, Maud Joy. Neon stands beside her and asks her to say something to viewers. However, Joy stands up and leaves the set. Neon starts backing up when Joy comes towards him with a bat in hand. She tells him to get lost and she isn't in the mood to do interviews. The camera falls down and Neon begs someone to stop her. The stream soon ends, informing viewers that they'll come back tomorrow. Damon's goons are watching the stream and make fun of him for doing random stuff. Back to Song grabbing Sejin's hand. He says since he's a psycho, so he'll test his capabilities. Sejin yanks his hand and agrees to his condition. He gets serious and tells Song to take off his glasses. At Song's studio, Jihyo comes in and greets Park. She came here to study as there are always lots of empty rooms. She also asks where Song is. Park says he went after Sejin, the potential new mod on their team. His friend was attacked this afternoon and Song went to check on him. Park asks Jihyo's opinion on who should be the new mod, Jaitai or Sejin. Jihyo replies it should be someone who's good at fighting and Song should like him as well. Park analyzes Jaitai's clips and thinks he might be better than Sejin. Jihyo gives him coffee and he thanks her for it. Jaitai's style reminds him of how he used to back in his days, and Jihyo tells him to keep dreaming about it. In his school days, he was called the One-Punch Man. He would smack anyone who came at him with these fists. The scene shifts to Song and Sejin starting their fight with a punch on each other's face. Sejin follows up with another punch while Song ducks under it. Song grabs Sejin's shirt and knees him, but he blocks it. Sejin does the same and grabs Song's shirt. He was about to throw him but Song grabbed his shirt as well. He pushes him away and Song charges at him. Sejin with good reflexes, was about to punch Song but stops midway. Song says this is the reason why he can't beat those bastards. Even if he manages to beat them today, they won't rest until they hurt him in more ways. He's hesitating to punch him when they have known each other for only 1 week. Sejin asks his reason for helping him back then. Song explains that he thought he could be a good fit to become a mod. Sejin asks if he's serious. He's talking like he's Neon Mask or something. Song confirms it, he's indeed the Neon Mask. Sejin questions how could he be Neon Mask, he has to be joking. Song asks if it was pure chance that he came to save him after the live stream ended. Sejin thinks deeply about it and finds the story to be believing. Song says he's really naive, and Sejin demands proof of him being Neon Mask. Song says he has no reason to lie. He told him not to get involved in this, but if he joins him they could fight Nopagu together. Sejin says if he's Neon Mask, then he could hide his identity and destroy Nopagu as a mod. People around him won't get dragged into it like Sumin, and they could end Nopagu. They could call his other mods and editors to make sure they never do stuff like this again. Song looks serious about his childish behavior. At the studio, Park asks if they can recruit both of them, as Song seems to be satisfied with both of them. Jihyo replies their fighting team should not be more than 5 people including Song, that's what the instructor told them. A 5-person team is the most efficient for quick gateways and being discreet in narrow alleyways. When surrounded by enemies, it doesn't matter how many there are, 5 people can create an invincible defense with no openings. Park agrees to what she said and asks about which criteria should they judge them. Jihyo thinks about it and says mods should have self-restraint most. Song is also telling the same thing to Sejin, without self-restraint, keeping secrets, perfecting formation and everything else is meaningless. That's why Sejin, you can't be a mod. People like him let their emotions control them and are no different from those bullying bastards. Eventually, he'll ruin his plan and is not qualified to become his mod. The scene shifts to someone watching a Neon Mask channel compilation. The video shows clips of Neon strapping a GoPro on him and forcing his way into a bully hideout to save a female student. Once, he went to an internet cafe looking for bullies and froze when he saw a bunch of gangsters, but it turned out they were his fans and wanted an autograph. Once, he caught all the Dine and Dash bullies and made them eat until their bellies exploded. Later, Sejin comes to the hospital to check on Sumin. He asks what they are up to and they reply they are watching Neon's live stream. Since Sumin is unable to play any games, he could at least hear Neon's live stream. They ask what happened to his face and tell him to come outside for a while. They ask if he went to Nopagu's hideout but Sejin declines it. He asks if the police have done anything yet. He explains they asked about who did this to Sumin but no student told about Nopagu. No one would be foolish enough to risk their life. Honestly, the police won't be of much help here, they would leave this case if they don't get any leads. Even if they catch the bullies, they will be released soon after. Sejin feels sad and says the adults won't do anything in this case. After talking with his friends, Sejin comes inside and asks how he's feeling. Sumin replies much better and the operation went well, so there's no need to worry about him. Sejin asks when his parents will come to visit and he replies in the night, once they are done at the shop. Sumin advises Sejin not to think about getting revenge. The police already know what's happening now and are guarding his parents' place. He's thinking about giving Neon Mask a tip-off later. On hearing Neon Mask, Sejin recalls how Song disqualified him to be a mod. The scene shifts to the gaming zone and some bullies smack the PC for losing a game. His other friend tells him to stop cursing the game if he's bad at it. The boy says that they can hang out wherever they want for free, thanks to Daman. The bullies come outside and see the motorcycle broken with a boy sitting on it. Sejin asks them where their hideout is. At the Nopagu's hideout, Daman is chilling with money spread over his table. His lackeys bring the extorted money and they talk about making a killing this month. Daman posts a pic on social media so that the fam guys can see it. After that, everyone takes their share of the money. He hands over extra money to his motorcycle thief expert for stealing 10 bikes this month. The boy puts his arm around him and asks if he'll give them a treat today. But Daman tells him to leave him alone, he needs the money to buy a wheelchair for his mother. Tae calculates the money and sees that one area gave them less. He asks the person in charge of that area to get his ass over here. A fatty comes up and the bully asks if he's new here. The fatty replies he works with Myongsu. Tae slaps him and tells him to greet his seniors properly. Tae asks where the remaining $270 are, however, the fatty scoffs at him. His friend tells him to apologize before they all get whacked. He brushes off his friend and says he had enough. The boy tells him he should have kept them in line after Myongsu's ass got handed over to the hospital. The boy suggests poking their eyes and Tae tells him to shut up. He tells Fatty to stop acting. Does he think he can take him on in a fight? Fatty says he didn't mean it and Tae asks what he meant then. Fatty suddenly starts screaming at Tae and Daman doesn't look pleased with it. Tae, fed up with Fatty, kicks him in the leg, grabs his hair, and smacks him in the head. He warns others if they try to stir up problems here, then he'll rip off their eyes. Suddenly, Sejin bursts inside and asks if they all are serious. He asks if all of them are cowards who hide behind and call for backup like a pussy. The bullies ask what that kid is doing here. Behind him, they see all the bikes have been messed up. Tae asks what he's doing here. Does he want to end up like his friend in the hospital? Sejin tells him to shut up. They think they look cool copying the crap scene in movies. They think speeding delivery bikes in front of cars and smoking e-cigarettes is cool. Getting tattoos with stolen money is badass. However, they all are just a bunch of failures with no talent, no money, and no future, living on some BS fantasy. Tae tells his boys to bring him here. Every lackey charges at Sejin and Sejin himself runs outside. Sejin steps over the fallen motorcycle and a bully jumps over it to beat Sejin. He smacks the bully and also deals with two coming next. Inside, the boy says that this dude got some balls to come here alone. Daman, frustrated, asks if this is how they are managing these days. If that punk walks out of here alive today, then he'll personally kill every one of them today. The scene shifts to Neon Mask doing a live stream. Their special guest for today is their long-range fighter, Saro. Neon asks the first question, is he a military fanatic, but Saro fires liquid at him. Neon crawls on the floor, saying his eyes are burning like hell. He asks the second question, is he weak without guns? However, Saro spoofs something at him. Neon goes away and clears his face. His final question is if he has a girlfriend. Neon thinks this time he isn't doing anything and might answer. But, Saro uses his drone to spoof out adhesive at him. The live stream ends as Neon is stuck in adhesive. The scene shifts back to Tae thinking about his days in elementary school. He was usually bullied by others. Once he managed to take down the guy tormenting him and Daman came looking for him after that. It started small by playing soccer with him and soon he started to hang out with him in internet cafes and arcades. He lied to his parents so that he could hang out with Daman more. Everything felt like an exciting adventure at first, but slowly other bullies started to disrespect his position and challenge him. There's a limit to getting respect just through false acts, so he started training in martial arts and defeated all the bullies who came after him. They felt that this world is for them to rule over. They taught lessons to students who didn't obey them and adults as well. In the end, no matter what they did, the teachers and police turned a blind eye to them. Still, a few underlings kept challenging his authority and as a result, Daman and others now look down on him. He can't lose here and must show his worth. Outside the hideout, Sejin is surrounded by the bullies. He does his best to beat the bullies but is clearly exhausted. Bullies soon start ganging up on him, but he still puts up a good fight. Tae comes outside and stands in front of Sejin. Sejin says he will never understand what goes in the minds of people like him. He asks if they all pissed their pants from fear after seeing what he did to others. Inside, the boy worries about Tae getting beaten by the red-haired dude. But Daman assures him that Tae won't lose to him. Sejin thinks these bullies are getting scared. Individually, they are a bunch of weaklings, but facing them all at once is testing his stamina to limits. He just needs to catch his breath and attack Daman next. Suddenly, Tae kicks a bully in the direction of Sejin. Sejin pushes the boy away and Tae, using the window of opportunity, kicks him in the feet. He then knees Sejin but he blocks it. Sejin lands a counterattack but Tae evades it narrowly. Sejin kicks him in the gut and sends him a few feet away. Sejin says he's just a minion and a nobody. Other bullies talk about Tae being too weak to even handle one boy. Sejin laughs at them. The point of being a bully is to group up on kids with a bunch of guys. He'll make them pay for what they did to Sumin. He'll rip off their tongue, eyes, nails, and teeth for revenge. Other bullies make more fun of Tae for being a coward now. Tae, annoyed, charges at Sejin. However, Tae gets punched in the face. Other bullies start throwing stuff at Sejin, distracting him from the fight. Using the window of opportunity, Tae kicks Sejin in the face. He stumbles back a bit and Tae kicks him in the feet. He kicks him in the face, then grabs his head and beats him again. Sejin lies defeated on the ground while bullies record him and make fun of him. Song watches all of this from a faraway building. The next day Jihyo asks how is that Sejin guy doing these days. Sejin is completely demoralized after he got defeated by Napagu. The ordinary bullies are assaulting him, robbing him, and destroying his stuff. He had it coming since he picked up a fight with Napagu and hurt Daman's pride. The school doesn't care about Sejin getting bullied. Instead, they are worried that Sejin will ruin the school's image. Park enters the room and apologizes for being late. He had to do a few things and asks how Song is doing. The mod replies he's meditating currently. In the evening, Daman goes to a bar to chill out a bit. Trollfam's second manager, Lee, greets him and offers him a drink. He asks if something happened as he's in a good mood today. Daman replies he's flowing in cash and asks if hasn't he seen his latest post. Lee replies he did see it and congratulates him on making it big this time. He asks where Min is but Lee says she's busy today and can't come. Hyuk and Daniel are upstairs. Would he like him to call them? Daman declines it and makes fun of Hyuk for not playing it dirty in fights. Even though Hyuk is strong, but outside the ring he would eat him in the breakfast. Lee, cautious, says he's the strongest in Trollfam after all. However, Daman corrects him that he's the strongest in the whole country. Lee introduces him to some bullies from the capital, and they bow in front of Daman the Great. These folks have nothing to fear or have a tint of shame. The guy in the middle even goes around beating cops. Daman says that's very basic and doesn't impress him a bit. However, Lee says Daniel found their antics interesting and invited them over here. He shows him the video clip of the new boy using school students as dominoes. The best part is he knocked all those kids out in front of the teacher. Daman, pleased, asks if they shot the video. Lee tells the new recruits to look no further than Daman for a badass role model. Daman, Nopagu, and Trollfam will take care of everything, so they should live with pride. One of Neon's editors, Jaitai, hears the conversation and conveys the message to Neon. Jaitai begs him to leave this place, he can't stand around them and wants to crush those fools. Neon thanks him for the hard work and tells him not to make any careless move. If things get out of hand, they might become pickier about letting outsiders in. Also, Trollfam is all his for taking. Jaitai agrees and calls it a day. Jaitai comes out of the washroom and bumps into the bully from before. The boy makes fun of him for stinking like a fish. Jaitai gets annoyed and beats him in the washroom. He thinks all these bullies are just talk, and a weakling like him can't even go around beating cops. He's just below average by bully standards. After talking with Jaitai, Song comes inside and says it's been a while since they had a production meeting. They will soon start the Nopagu special on stream. The scene shifts to the head office of ViewTube. They are discussing the many controversies ViewTube has faced since it was founded, but this one is the biggest. There are countless channels that capitalize on violent content with the premise that they are punishing criminals. They talk about banning these channels, especially Neon Mask. If they allow these channels to stay active, they risk further hostility from entire nations, human rights, and police forces. Soon, Neon's live stream starts and everyone discusses it in the office. The head of the team thinks she can't miss Neon's stream. She takes the box of snacks and puts it out on the table. She'll give them these if they let her leave this meeting. If they try to stop her, she would fire them. The employee, confused, asks where's going. The woman replies she's going to watch Neon's stream. The other board members think this company is done for. The scene shifts to Daman and Tae chilling out with girls in a restaurant. Tae tells the girls how he beat the shit out of that red-haired dude and the girl compliments him. Tae thanks Daman and Nopagu that he can chill out at places like this. Daman agrees, and talks about being loyal to each other till the end. Tae also agrees and he'll deal with any problem he faces. After dinner, Tae is about to leave and asks if Daman isn't coming along. Daman declines and says he'll head home later. While going home, Tae sees a truck parked in the middle of the road and wonders who did it. Someone flashes a light at Tae and he tells them to turn it off. Soon many men flashes light at Tae. Tae, worried for his life, steps on the accelerator. A chase between Tae and the men breaks out. He wonders what's going on and why they are chasing him. Left with no better option, he heads to the public gym. He gets off the motorcycle and barges inside the building. He wonders if it's Fatty or someone else. No matter who they are, he'll deal with them all. He looks behind and sees Neon and his team waiting for him. Neon welcomes his guest and Tae tells them to quit being cool if they don't want to get beaten up. He tells Tae to check on his phone. He sees the phone and sees Neon's live stream has started 15 minutes ago. In the stream, he's broadcasted getting chased away and viewers make fun of him. The stream also shows a student talking about him extorting money from him. Some complain about him harassing their parents' business and eating for free. Another talks about his friends getting bullied by him daily and how helpless he feels. This person is Tae, since he didn't want to get bullied so he became one. Neon didn't put a reward on his head because he wanted to crush him by himself. The stage is set and he informs the viewers that the target is here. At the restaurant, the girl informs Daman about Tae being on Neon's live stream. Neon says it has been long since the last live stream and will ask about his mod's opinion. First of all, the very angel of violence, Joy, what's her opinion? Joy gives a middle finger and Neon thanks her for the cute gesture. He asks Sorrow next but he doesn't say anything. He asks Pleasure but he fumbles his words. He thanks his mod for enlightening him by being dull. Tae asks if he's the target this time and Neon mimics him. He thought he was a big dipshit even if his name didn't appear on the nationwide bully ranking system. Tae asks the reason for dragging him here. If he want to fight then he should already come at him. Neon laughs at him. He really wants to fight the great Neon Mask, how amusing. With a serious expression, he tells Tae to know his place. Him leaving on a stretcher or in a body bag depends on how good of a show he puts on for him. If he want to call his shitty friends then he can call them. In that case, they'll arrange for more body bags. The scene shifts to Sejin reflecting on his past actions. He didn't think it much, but getting hit in a fight is easy and there's always a chance to lose. However, no matter how many times he beat bullies they will make some excuse for losing. They trick themselves into thinking they are best and avoid one-on-one situations at all costs. One way to make sure that they don't look down on you is if you have established a hierarchy with them. However, the thing with pests is they might disappear for a while but will keep bothering until they die. Song was right, no matter how many bullies he beat up, he could never win against them. They don't give up and won't admit defeat. They become more of a nuisance as their number grows. It's hard to reason with them and are more like hordes of zombies that won't let go of you once they set eyes on you. At school, his friends were concerned about him acting low after the incident. His face is getting more and more messed by every passing day and hope he won't end up like Sumin. There's nothing they can do if he keeps acting like that. The bullies come to Sejin's class to take revenge for beating them earlier. He grabs Sejin's hair and throws him off the chair. Sejin wants to beat him here but the bully threatens him that they have close ties with Napagu. If he does something to them, they will beat him again. Sejin's friend is angry with these bullies. Earlier they were scared of Sejin, but are acting tough now. The bully grabs Sejin by the hair and tells him to pay $9 every day for causing him emotional damage. They leave after threatening him and his friends help him get up. They suggest talking to Neon Mask about this and shouldn't consider it to be his fault. However, Sejin cries and says it's all his fault. The scene shifts to Jaitai talking with Neon on the hospital's roof. He tells him not to worry about his grandma, as she's receiving good treatment thanks to him. Earlier, his grandma sold fish at the market and they lived in a small rented apartment. Once, he went to a convenience store to buy some snacks and there were some of his school punks smoking at the entrance. He walked past them to not get involved with them. However, those idiots caused a fire in tents because they kept messing with lighters. The firefighters were able to rescue his grandma but she was left in serious condition. That's when he thought about doing something to these punks or else he might lose his loved ones. He can call him any time and he could be a mod, editor, or whatever he says. Back at the gym, Neon tells Tae to make a run for his life. Since Tae challenged him, so he should go against one of his mods first. Neon introduces his new mod, Rage, as the one who can't resist snapping the necks of bullies when he has the chance. Earlier, Jihyo asked Song who he's going to pick as the fourth mod. An editor needs the skill to fight by their side while a moderator needs to have self-restraint. He tested both Jaitai and Sejin and one of them followed his instructions faithfully while the other lost control at the moment. They are both great people who feel outraged when the weak are harmed. Earlier in the alleyway, Song told him he's not the type to become a moderator. However, Sejin stopped him and said he hasn't given up on him yet. If he had given up on him then he wouldn't have revealed his identity. What does he have to do, or has the test already started? Song advises him to first take the heat of his friend Sumin and keep him safe. To do that he'll need to lose to those Napagu and become their favorite toy. He has to cower when he sees them and cry when they hit him. He needs to make them feel superior. In return, he'll be overwhelmed by helplessness for the first time in his life. Nobody will do anything for him, the teacher, police, and his friends will just watch him from the side. He can't tell how long it will last, it could be a day or a year. But he will feel like hell the entire time. There's no need to feel dejected as all the victims feel the same. If he can put up with all that and still maintain self-control, then Napagu will completely forget about Sumin. After that, he'll be worthy to become his mod. Sejin kept up with the bullying in the following days and told Song he kept his promise. The new mod is Sejin and he high-fives with Neon. He tells Sejin to give them hell. The people look at the new mod and wonder who he could be as they haven't seen him before. Some girls talk about him being tall and handsome. Jaitai is sitting in the crowd and thinks he could have become the mod, but he lost control when dealing with bullies. Tae, acting confident, asks where he picked this guy. He doesn't want to fight this piece of trash. Neon makes the condition that if he beats his new mod then they will let him walk out of here without any trouble. Also, this is his only chance to go back in one piece. Tae says he never keeps his word for bullies, so he's no exception. However, Neon presses on him, insisting they keep their promise, but it's the bullies' fault for not winning. He puts his hands around Tae and asks the viewers if it's his fault that all bullies happen to be losers. A person is watching Neon's stream and sees Tae on it. The fatty from before is delighted to see him on the stream. Another Tae's friend thinks he's totally screwed today. Domum watches the live stream while the girl worriedly asks what they should do for Tae. Tae's friend discusses what they should do for him, but Daman tells them to stay still. Suddenly, Daman gets a message from an unknown sender giving him Tae's live location. Daman laughs and thinks that Neon is really something. On the other hand, Tae thinks it had 20 minutes since the stream started and hopes that someone from Nopagu will come to rescue him. Until then he needs to hold out. Tae screams at Neon Mask, telling him to keep his promise if he beats the new mod to pulp. Neon asks if he really has so many trust issues. He had already made the promise on livestream and he should get ready to fight. He asks Joy to put on some music. Joy obliges and puts on the Neon anthem. Neon enjoys the music and tells her to increase the volume. Before Sejin beats Tae, the scene shifts to Song welcoming him in his studio. Park introduces himself as the manager and says it's a pleasure to meet him. Next, he meets with Jihyo and asks if she's Song's older sister. However, Song corrects him that she's Ma Joy. Sejin, surprised, thinks about how could she be Ma Joy. She says that he has already started to piss her off and Sejin recognizes her voice. He meets with Yang next, Maud Pleasure, and Siha, Maud Sorrow. Jihyo, annoyed, tells them to go away as she's busy. Siha explains that she's in her senior year and has exam pressure. Sejin can't believe that it's real and he's joining the Neon Mask team. Song assures him he'll soon join it and presents a contract to become a part-time moderator. Sejin, happy, clutches the paper and asks if he only needs to sign this. However, Song grows serious and tells him that this channel is like a sinking ghost ship. Countless victims suffer from bullies and have to carry those scars for the rest of life. Even though this channel provides a moment of comfort for these people, but it doesn't change the fact that he's a criminal too. Eventually, he might end up in the hands of the law, or get beaten down by a more ruthless opponent, or taken out by another Neon Mask. This contract isn't with the channel but with ViewTube. This is the only way for him to look after his mods and editors when the end comes. Even if the channel doesn't end, Neon Mask doesn't have the power to turn this country around. He's just a helpless minor like everybody else. Sejin then asks him the reason for starting the channel and why he put all that effort into hunting down those bullies. Song tells him a story. In preschool, they are taught to go to the police station or ask an adult for help if something bothers them, and this made him feel safe. If he ever got lost or didn't know what to do, then he could go to an adult for help. And since the day he lost his family, he feels like a lost child. He believed in those words, but nothing ever changed since then. Although, he won't get back what he lost, but this is the only way for him to cope with it. That's why he called this channel a sinking ship. It wasn't able to float, to begin with, and should have never existed in the first place. Sejin understands what he means and says in simple terms, that adults will watch these fights and they might get punished together. If they happen to get caught messing around together, then it's only right for them to get punished together. At the gym, Neon tells them to get ready for the fight. Tae, while charging forward, began removing his jacket, and threw it at Rage. He thinks he got him this time, but Rage blocks his attack, startling him. Neon says that he was already a loser, to begin with. Rage punches Tae, sending him flying back. Tae slides down on the floor and Neon comments that it was badass. He can feel the aura coming off him. He's like a hero in a movie who loses his friend and goes on a bloodthirsty rampage. He asks Joy if she's enjoying it, but she doesn't reply. Neon tells Tae to get up. Rage has been waiting for him on purpose so that he won't make an excuse. He had his guard down. Tae, frustrated, tells him to bring it on. They spar again and Tae tries to kick him, but Rage blocks it between his legs. He then tries punching him, but Rage dodges every single one of them. Rage grabs Tae and knocks him down on the floor. Tae lies defeated on the floor and the audience can't believe that this bully is so weak. Some girls wonder that the new mod may be too strong. Jaitai also thinks that the new mod is skilled and Tae is just a joke. Tae gets up and kicks him again, but Rage blocks it. He then tries kicking him in the face, but Rage blocks it. In return, Rage jabs him in the ribs, making him scream in pain. Girls wonder if he just jabbed him with his thumb. They have never seen something like that before. Neon is amazed himself, calling it a legendary thumb gun attack. On hearing thumb gun, Siha, a military fanatic, gets curious. Tae is having a hard time and tries to slam Rage's head. However, Rage holds his hair and punches him, but he blocks it in time. However, he isn't able to block the next one and gets hit in the face. Tae falls down and Neon calls him a daddy, begging him to get up. He tells Joy that he can't get enough of this. Every time Tae tries to get up and fight, he gets knocked down again. Even his teeth fell after a lot of beating. Sejin comes over to him and Neon tells him to get up as they need to milk some more content. He encourages him to keep going until Daman shows up. Tae, scared, tries to stand against Rage but trembles in fear. Neon tells them to have another round, but Tae surrenders. He begs them to stop and says he has already lost. Neon stops Rage and says he finally admitted defeat, which is a rarity to see from a bully. Neon steps up and says there's still one thing that happens to the bullies who surrender. The audience gets out of their seat and starts rooting for Neon Mask. Tae, afraid, hopes Daman will hurry up before he gets beaten more. Neon, with a malicious laugh, says it's punishment time. When he was about to grab Tae, someone bangs the gym's door. Neon wonders who it could be. Tae thinks that the god herd is prey and Daman has come to rescue him. At the restaurant, the girls talk about where Daman went. They were watching the live stream and didn't notice when he left. They think he must have gone to save Tae. At the gym, the door opens, and Neon wonders who could it be. Pleasure says it could be Tae's friend and Sorrow readies his gun. Joy tells Rage not to get scared. From now on, he'll have to get used to these situations. Tae, with tears flowing from his eyes, rushes to the entrance, calling Daman his savior. He grabs his shirt and says he knew he would come to save him. However, the person is not Daman but a delivery guy. He's here to deliver the order of 1,000 fried chicken meals. Tae's last hope gets hopelessly crushed. Neon comes and puts his arm around him, saying that a Neon stream can't be the same without some snacks. Thanks to his sponsorship, 1,000 coupons will be given to the lucky viewers and they can claim their meal. He advertises Chicken Race Corporation for providing fast and reliable deliveries, and they should send them some love. At the restaurant, Daman comes back from the washroom and the girls ask if didn't he go to save Tae. Daman laughs and asks why should he even go there. At the gym, the audience eats the chicken and talks about how Neon Mask's team checks the factories before taking sponsorship. Jaitai volunteers to help the person distribute chicken. Neon comes from Tae's behind and asks if he's disappointed. His friend abandoned him, too bad. His loyalty to Napagu means nothing to them. He finds it weird. He sent the livestream location to everyone at Napagu but no one showed up and they didn't even call the cops for him. This is even worse. Tae begs him to let him go but Neon tells him to stop making crybaby faces. Tae says he had no choice back then and had to become a bully. Neon, annoyed with his BS story, punches him. He doesn't give a shit about his background nor does he know about his childhood. What about all the people who work hard and live honest lives despite facing the same challenges? What gives him the right to mess up someone's face because they didn't do as he pleased? Riding around on bikes with bats, thinking they are tough, huh? He grabs Tae's leg and says it's time for the main event. Neon drags Tae while he desperately begs for mercy. Sejin is worried about Neon going crazy and asks Joy if shouldn't they do something about it. But, Joy tells her to stay put, if they get in his way they'll be dead. Joy pulls out her phone while Rage asks what she means by that. She tells every mod and editors to stand by for the kill switch. Once she gives the signal they should assemble here. She also wants the medical team on standby. Sejin wonders what the kill switch means. Sorrow explains that when Neon Mask completely loses it, all the mods have to rush in and stop him. When that happens, he becomes terrifying and can kill the opponent. Sejin witnesses the Neon Mask's true form, beating Tae mercilessly. He wonders if he's the same Song he knows. He had no idea that Song could be so scary when he's Neon Mask. After beating Tae mercilessly, Neon thinks he would have ripped his head off if this wasn't a live stream. Joy tells the medical team to come in and they go for Tae. Sorrow was nervous all the time but is glad that nothing bad happened. Joy tells others to not let their guard down as his true nature might come out again. Neon asks the viewers if they are having fun. He has taken care of this bully, so they can relax now. He knows too well how there are still so many innocent people who still suffer in this country. According to adults, teenage crime rates are decreasing every year. They claim we live in a safe country and want to give delinquent youth a second chance. He wants to ask them a question: have the victims done anything wrong? Each year, there will be more victims and these crimes are always pushed to one side by society. They don't even think about how the victims feel and the victims themselves never get a second chance. If their loved one was victimized, would they write it off as a rare incident? The victim of these so-called rare incidents could be a member of their own family. If they are an adult then they should start behaving like one and deal with the situation. He smashes the mic on the floor in frustration. He then tries to calm himself down and says everyone knows about it but don't do anything, so that's why he decided to take matters into his own hands. These scums think being a bully is cool, and mistake crime for achievement. They see wrongdoing as a symbol of success. Trollfam, the largest bully organization in the country, gives birth to new bullies by glorifying bully culture. He is Neon Mask, declares war on Trollfam and all their associated organizations. He'll begin this by destroying their affiliated group, Nopagu, the largest group of degenerates in the west of Seoul. All the gifted fighters across the nation and tough guys rise. He's not a symbol of justice and violence isn't the answer. But starting today, he'll protect the innocent. This isn't simply a fight between Neon Mask Channel and 70,000 bullies. This is a war between 8 million teenagers together with 10 million Neon Mask subscribers against 70,000 criminals. That's it for today's live stream, and the bullies could enjoy hiding under the bed while they still can as Neon Mask patience has run out. The live stream ended and it achieved a high number of views since launch. The medical team rushed Tae to a hospital. His condition wasn't life-threatening and there were no serious injuries. But his true punishment was psychological rather than physical. Tae will most likely live in fear of people for the rest of his life. In this way, Neon Mask eliminated Tae, the Nopagu's lieutenant, from society. The day Neon Mask declared war on bullies, it caused domestic and international groups to follow the activity of Neon Mask and his enemy. All channels that imitated Neon Mask stood in his support and wanted to collaborate with him. 30 new channels sprang up overnight that publicly challenged Neon Mask. Among the group of bullies who felt threatened, they began forming coalitions with one another. Even the neutral groups sparked into action. After the stream, Jaitai calls her grandma and tells her not to worry as his part-time job pays well. A girl talks about Neon Mask being a little different today from his usual self. She likes Neon Mask and gets the idea that he wants to protect the weak, destroy bully culture, and fix society. When he made the declaration of war, he had a happy face. To her, it seemed like he was in pain. The scene shifts to the next day at Sandro High School. Daman is sitting on his chair with a student on his limbs to support his leg. Some students gossip about how he came to school after Neon said he was going after Napagu. The bully comes in the class with a student as his ride and asks why Daman showed up to school suddenly. Daman says he needs to take care of a few things because of that Neon Mask. Daman assembles his classmates and asks if they saw yesterday's live stream. Some raise their hands and Daman slaps those people. He asks if the people who didn't raise their hands didn't see it and another boy raises his hand. He punches that boy as well. He tells them if they are thinking that things will change after yesterday's live stream then they should listen up. Nopagu will destroy the Neon Mask. They thought their school life would get easier, then they could keep dreaming about it. Later, the boy asks if this is the thing he has to take care of. Daman agrees and says that even in Nopagu many pissed their pants after the live stream. He needs to get those bastards in line too. Suddenly, Fatty calls out to Daman from behind the tree. Daman wonders why Fatty is hiding behind the tree. Fatty, with nervousness, says he has some good news to tell. The scene shifts to Death Valley in California. A person picks up the call and the caller asks if he saw the Neon's live stream. Instead, the man asks how long she's planning to work with Neon Mask. The girl replies she's unsure, perhaps until there are no bullies left. The man says that Neon uses one-sided violence and that's not justice. He understands she wants to help him, but if Neon Mask wins, ViewTube will be finished. She agrees with what he says and also asks if he can stick to that belief when he looks at his legs. The man rises and says he scares him. Whenever he watches his live stream, it feels like he's witnessing the very essence of vengeance in human form. She informs him that he can shut down Neon Mask's channel whenever he pleases, as he has the dedicated server running his channel. He's cooperating so that one day they can find a better way, but the moment Neon crosses the line he'll destroy his channel. The scene shifts to Sejin lying on his bed and his sister tells him to get up, she's going out for a bit and he'll be dead if she finds him still sleeping around. He says that the last few weeks have been tiring for him. He remembers the moment when Neon introduced him as Mod Rage. He gets all happy and rolls in his bed, thinking he's now Neon Mask's new mod. Suddenly, he remembers what happened to Tae and gets a bit sad. His phone rings and they tell Sejin to come to the boxing ring. At the gym, Jong introduces himself as the in charge of training. Sejin says it's a pleasure to meet him and asks for an autograph as he is his massive fan. Jihyo asks why he's getting so excited and Song replies he's a popular MMA fighter. Sejin grabs Jihyo and asks if she doesn't know about Lee. He started learning Taekwondo when he was 8 and won various competitions. Jihyo gets annoyed with his childish behavior and punches him. Sejin asks which style Neon Mask channel specializes in, he's assuming it to be stand-up fighting. Lee says he'll see soon, but first, they will start by cracking his shell wide open, which means he'll have to get out of his comfort zone. He says that he'll go easy on Song and the very next moment Song punches him and he dodges narrowly. Lee says their opponents aren't MMA fighters, so there aren't any rules, referees, or rings. If it's a losing fight then he should run and hit them when they are not looking. Those punks only engage in fights if they outnumber their opponent. They aren't ashamed to use a weapon and aren't embarrassed to be backed by friends. Lee asks if he understands it now. There's no ring to begin with. He shouldn't get the idea that a mod is a noble fighter who engages in duels. Sejin understands it and tells Song to brace for the impact. However, Sejin stopped midway as Song kicked him in the leg. Sejin says he didn't get to finish their fight last time. This is 100 times more fun than fighting bullies, and this time he might hit him for real. Song also agrees and says he's the first non-bully he wants to trade blows with. Sejin tells him to get ready and they both start sparring again. Song feels Sejin's power and thinks that in terms of pure strength, he's above him. Sejin asks what's wrong and tells him to put in more effort. Suddenly, Jihyo comes from behind with a kick, and Sejin, sensing the danger, evades it narrowly. Sejin looks surprised and Song asks why he's acting like a novice. There are no rules to do a 2v1 fight. Sejin calls him a punk and readies himself for the challenge. Jihyo also puts on her helmet and gets ready. Sejin, a bit nervous, tells them to get ready. Both of them charge at Sejin and he thinks this is completely different than facing bullies. Those punks just rely on their sheer numbers and have zero coordination. But Jihyo and Song are on a different level. If he dodges Jihyo's attack, then it will force him into Song's side. And if he dodges Song's attack, he'll get hit by Jihyo. They don't bother switching between offense and defense, it's like an all-out attack. They won't even give him a single opportunity to strike. Eventually, he'll be fighting side by side with them and gets pumped up by the very thought of it. Right now, he's still a challenger. He'll do his best to smash their combos into pieces. Sejin changes direction quickly, making Song bump into Jihyo. Sejin asks how it feels now that they are blocking each other. However, Song jumps over Jihyo and Sejin remains speechless. Song kicks Sejin and he rests in a corner after the sparring session. Song extends his hand and asks if he's alright. Sejin says that they literally destroyed him. He asks how they are in so much sync and he wasn't able to figure out their attack pattern. Song is impressed by him that he managed to look at their attack pattern. Lee says they are a bunch of bad guys themselves. No one will applaud them for being honorable and fighting one-on-one. Their opponents are punks who don't deserve any consideration. They should use whatever means necessary to get an upper hand. They should never limit themselves to just one approach. In some situations, fighting may not be necessary and that's why they have a reward system. Sejin hears Lee's speech intently while Jihyo just wants to get out of there. Sejin asks if the guys ranked highest in the reward system are executive members of Trollfam. Song explains that reward systems are for those bullies who upload videos of them committing violence. The top executive at Trollfam doesn't have anything to do with it. Sejin asks if there's no connection between Trollfam and the reward system. Song says this is a trap they have set for them and this reward system is a puppet show to get to them. After the training session, Song and Sejin go for a shower. Sejin looks at the scars on Song's body and gets shocked. He asks how he got those scars, wondering if they are from fights. However, Song explains that they are from training. He asks what kind of training he did they throw him off the cliff or something, and Song agrees. Later, they relax in a hot tub and Sejin can't believe that he rented out this whole bathhouse. His channel has the best benefits. Song says this much expense is nothing for him. Due to the nature of their work, they also need to look after themselves. If he has a question or needs any equipment, he can tell him. Since this is a dirty job, so this is the least he could do. Sejin understands and says he has something on his mind. He asks who is the person Lee was referring to. Lee explained that since they have got all the basics down, he won't need much more to destroy a bully. What he'll teach him are tactics and strategies for street fight. How to catch their enemies off guard and humiliate them. He can see that Sejin will be of great help as they try to take down that guy and he'll leave the task up to Song to educate him. Song explains that the person is the supreme enemy of the Neon Mask channel, their greatest and terrible opponent. He fought him once before but got completely destroyed. Sejin can't believe that someone is stronger than him. They call him by the nickname of Mad. Sejin while walking back home thinks that the Neon Mask channel is the most famous in his niche. Since the channel's beginning, he has never seen him lose to anyone, regardless of how many or strong opponents he faced. If Song is keeping his defeat a secret, then he can't understand why Mad stayed quiet about it. He needs to up his skills. Also, when Song teams up with his mods, he becomes so strong that he can't even lay a finger on him despite being equal. This means he won't be tasked with taking Mad out, but rather team up with Neon Mask to help him take down. He can't understand why Lee said that all 5 mods will be needed to defeat him. Is Mad like a supervillain or something? He also remembered Jihyo talking about him and how all the mods and editors were present at that time, but she was still nervous. He held his head as it started to ache from all that thinking. However, there's one thing for sure: if he exists then he would be the most powerful fighter in all of Korea. The scene shifts to the Nopagu's hideout. Daman comes inside and sees a boy sitting in his seat. The person who's Trollfam first executive manager asks if he has been having a tough time recently. Hyuk says it's been a while since they last met. Daman asks if Daniel sent him, but Hyuk replies he can't sit idle when his friend is in trouble. Daman, frustrated, asks what's his trouble. Do they think he can't handle that Neon Mask on his own? Yuman, the third executive, tells him to wake up to reality. The whole world saw how Tae, his little minion, got his ass kicked on livestream. If he got nothing better to do, then he should forget the Nopagu crap and join them in gym. After all, he's only doing this because of money. Daman gets annoyed and punches Yuman. He tells Hyuk that his errand boy got beat up in one punch. Hyuk panics and says he has a match next month. Yuman gets up and says that Hyuk won't leave him now. However, Hyuk himself punches Yuman and tells him to go to hell. The punch is powerful and Sumin slams through the boxes behind. Hyuk, annoyed, says he let him tag along because he wanted to see Daman, but he started calling his buddy a bum. He should remember his place. Hyuk apologizes to him in his place and Daman tells him to get straight to the point. He's not worried about his skills but about his lackeys, Tae, Fatty, and others lacking behind. He shouldn't get upset and try to understand why they are coming here. He was thinking about going on and taking Neon Mask. Daman shoves him back and says that Neon Mask is for him to take. Hyuk joins his hand and says to give him a chance first. If he faces Neon first then he won't get a chance. Daman says that he targeted Napagu and if they can't handle it by themselves, then his reputation will plummet. Daman grabs his shirt and says he doesn't know how that trollfam bastard insults and looks down on him. All those people leeching off their parents will soon kneel before him when he rips off the Neon Mask's face. The scene then shifts to a flower shop. The manager thinks she can't do this anymore and is tired of it. Suddenly, Song comes in and wants to buy some flowers. She asks what kind of flower he wants. He replies a funeral bouquet of poppies. The girl handpicks the flower and asks if it's a somber occasion. Song replies his sister liked those flowers very much. She looks back and sees Song smiling. She hands him over the flowers and Song hands him his card. She tells him not to pay as the shop will close down soon anyway. Song insists on paying, while the girl insists more on not paying. She would rather have someone appreciate these flowers than have them wither away. Song asks if there are so many schools nearby then she shouldn't be struggling in her business. The girl agrees and says there are a bunch of bad bullies nearby. She rejected their marketing proposal and now they are threatening students not to come here. Song thinks that Nopagu has gone too far now. The regulars have stopped to buy flowers and she will have to close the shop soon. She opened this store by scraping through every last penny but it seems like she isn't so lucky. Song asks if she heard that a streamer called Neon Mask is going to kick out Nopagu from this neighborhood, so she should wait a little longer. He thinks she might not know him and tries to explain it to her. But the girl knows him, he's super famous and his face is plastered all over YouTube. She heard that Neon Mask is a student and feels bad as an adult. It seems like they are always failing to protect their students from bad people. Song thanks her for the flowers and says her sister will like it. Outside the shop, Song wonders if his sister will praise him if he does something good. At the Nopagu's hideout, a bully is beating a student. Another tries to stop him, saying he might die if he goes too far. Fatty comes inside and asks what made him lose his mind again. The boy says he heard that student laugh while he was sleeping in class, and Fatty wonders how he could hear him while sleeping. The boy asks why he's here and Fatty replies he's here to recruit that guy. All he needs to do is tell him he'll face Neon Mask. Earlier, Daman told Fatty to explain his plan. Fatty says since Neon Mask roams around the whole country so he doesn't know much about their area. They could challenge him in the redevelopment as no one lives there and they are quite used to it. If they fight there they will have the advantage. The boy says if he's thinking about messing the bikes again then Daman will kill him. However, Fatty says he's not finished yet. There are some sickos from Imel High School. The top dog of the school got crushed by Neon and ever since then, his cousin has been going on a rampage. He's a brainless dumbass with anger management issues, so they can easily manipulate him. If he hurt his pride a little, he might kill Neon Mask. The boy says that there's a pretty good chance that he'll get crushed by Neon. Does he think they will fight Neon if Fatty orders them? Fatty and the boy get into a trash talk and Daman tells them to calm down. They only need those boys to provide extra support from a distance. Daman says he's impressed by Fatty. He pats his shoulder and apologizes for hurting him last time and Fatty says it's alright man. Daman says that's why he will have to go and recruit them. Even though Imel High will do the fighting, they are also putting Nopagu's name on the line. If those Imel bastards can't take down Neon then it's up to him to finish the job. Daman says that Hyuk was looking for him. Fatty asks if it's true that Trollfam is looking for him and Daman agrees, saying it's time for him to make a name for himself. The boy gets confused by what Daman means. He quickly catches on to Daman's plan and taunts the Fatty if he's afraid of Neon Mask. Fatty, enraged, tells him to shut up. He'll smash Neon Mask into dust if he meets him. Daman tells Fatty to take care and he trusts him with this job. Fatty soon leaves for Imel High to put some fire in their asses. When Fatty leaves, the boy asks how can Imel punks take down Neon Mask. Daman knows that, in fact he's more curious to see how Fatty will recruit Imel High. The boy says that maybe Fatty brags them with cash. Daman says that Fatty doesn't have any cash and those Imel bastards have caused them trouble in the past. While they are talking, they are unaware of the fact that a drone is watching them. The scene shifts to a Trollfam's top executive watching a live stream. He sees the Fatty trash talking about Neon Mask telling him to face him. At Imel High School, the bullies are walking out and Sejin and Song watch them from a roof. Song says Nopagu plays petty tricks and that group knows how to beat people. He asks Sejin if he watched the video he sent to him and he replies yes. The video showcased Yunho beating a student. Someone recorded it and spread it on social media. Sejin wonders how could this guy do something like this. He's a pure trash who gives a shit about other people. He goes around shoving strangers out of boredom. He'll keep doing this until he gets reported one day. These animals have no motive for violence, they do this for fun. Some viewers can't comprehend that people like them really exist. That's why there is some controversy if the stream is real or not. The adults believe a bastard like him can change, but they never change. This guy Yunho is the cousin of the bully he hunted down in the past. Fatty spread some fire and made them join Nopagu. Sejin says even though he hasn't fought Yunho, he's a well-fed brute with nothing but size going for him. If they are using 40 high-rank guys from Imul High, then they might use large numbers to defeat Neon Mask. For him, it was a struggle to even fight 20 Nopagu minions and they were all losers. Fighting against a large number of opponents requires more than just strength and skills. Song agrees and says they can't run away from this fight. There's also a possibility they might lose. Neon Mask has become a very symbol of its own and he has to take responsibility for what happens to it. He has come up with an approach that will improve their chances. Sejin understands what he means and is going home to have dinner. Song says he won't go with him today and Sejin says that Jihyo insisted that he walk Song home. However, Song says he'll be busy as he has a recorded stream for today. The stream soon starts and Neon Mask greets his viewers as suckers. Today, Myongsu and Imul High morons combined forces, so they came here to hunt Yunho. He shows the viewers a boy getting knocked out by Yunho. He picks up the boy and asks what a nobody like him is doing here. Saro says he's taming Kim, a bully at rank 67. He got kicked in one of the last streams as well. Neon asks why he keeps getting his ass kicked, did he upload a video again? Saro confirms it, he spat on people walking past them. Neon becomes annoyed and says they can't measure Yunho's strength with this weak guy, he tells him to do his job properly. Saro says he did as he was told, not to bring any strong guy because it would ruin his stream. Neon agrees but they won't get any content if they get destroyed the moment they start. He should understand his position as he's trying to create hype somehow for that mediocre Yunho. Yunho asks if he's Neon Mask, but Neon tells him to wait a second. Saro and Neon start quarreling with each other and this irritates Yunho more. At the end of the bargain, Saro demands an armored car and Neon explains that it's illegal to have one. Saro further says that should have asked Joy for help. He's such a coward to approach her for anything. Neon panics and asks if he wants him to get killed. They can discuss this later and Saro says he'll tell Joy if he doesn't give him an armored car. Neon comes back and asks Yunho to introduce himself. Yunho asks if he's the real Neon Mask. Neon asks if he even has to ask that. He heard that he fights those weaker than him and there's something he's curious about. In the video, he beat up a student for making eye contact, then why isn't he coming at him? He approaches Yunho and asks if he's too strong of an opponent to take on. Yunho gets annoyed and punches him, but he ducks under it. He follows it up with more punch but Neon evades every hit. Neon says that this time he'll have to do the work himself. He punches Yunho but he blocks it. He holds both of Neon's hands and starts pushing him backward with his sheer weight. Neon enjoys the ride and suddenly Yunho grabs his throat. He tells him not to mess with the wrong person if he doesn't want to get his neck broken. Neon coughs up and Saro asks if he needs some help, but thinks he would be alright. Neon tries saying that Yunho is a real villain here but Saro doesn't hear him. Neon suggests they talk this out, they don't fight each other and be friends. However, Yunho punches him, and Neon slides down. He kicks Yunho in the stomach and follows it with a punch in the face. However, Yunho doesn't budge and asks if that's supposed to hurt. Neon thinks that this bastard is a freaking gorilla. The gorilla punches him and sends him a few feet back. He tells him to stop running like a mouse. Neon asks what he's talking about, is he slow as hell? It doesn't matter if it's a student or an old man, losers like him with cheap tricks need a good beating. Saro steps in and says he's just the size of a dumpster and nothing much. He calls him a T-Rex who is narcissistic about himself and has a brain of size of a pea. Yunho, annoyed, tries to punch him, but at that moment, Neon strikes him with an uppercut, making Gorilla go back. He tells him not to go any further or he'll mess him up. He borrows Saro's hand grenade for a second and throws it at Gorilla. The grenade splashes ink all over the gorilla's face, and Neon tells him to come and get him now. Earlier, he was talking about ripping his head off, isn't he gonna do that now? They are only here to measure his fighting strength and they run away, telling him they will meet at the Fatties event. Yunho's friend comes in and asks if that person is Neon Mask. Yunho punches them and asks why they are coming now. After running a lot, both of them catch their breath. Saro asks what he thinks about Yunho, he seems like a typical bully relying on brute force. Song agrees and shows him his scratched hand. He's the type they need to avoid in a fight if possible. The scene shifts to Sejin walking back home. He thinks about his last conversation with Song talking about his plan. He thinks that the upcoming fight is a bit hopeless and Song hasn't contacted him since the last training session. While walking home, Sejin is unaware of the fact that someone is following him from behind. He reaches his room and is about to close his door but suddenly someone stops it with his foot. The person immediately kicks Sejin and he falls on the floor. He wonders who it could be this time. Did someone find out he's a mod? The person picks up the phone and asks why isn't he answering her calls. Sejin's older sister, Miri, who is in the military, asks why isn't he answering. Sejin says if she's gonna kick his ass every time she comes home, then she should live in a dorm. He asks why she's here on a weekday. Did she get back from training? She asks how her new suit looks. Sejin says she looks like a killer, not a bodyguard. As a result, Sejin gets picked up by the neck. She explains that it got crowded during her bodyguard training and she had to hold back a bunch of fans. There were many people and she almost got knocked back. Sejin compliments her strength to hold against so many people. She explains that because of that she lost her keys. After that, she tried calling him but he didn't pick up. Sejin says if that's the case then she should memorize the access code for the apartment. He asks if she heard about Neon Mask and wants to ask something. She asks if it's the same guy who wears a jacket and raised hell with Napagu on a livestream. She hopes he's not involved in those things. Sejin panics and says why would he get involved with Neon Mask, he only wants to know her opinion about who will win. She stares at her brother, wondering if he's hiding something. She asks who started it and Sejin says it's the fatty who announced it on livestream. She asks if that's what Neon Mask was referring to when he meant dealing with Nopagu. He's already causing trouble running wild in this neighborhood. Sejin says if it's annoying to her then why doesn't she deal with the bullies? She asks who is facing Neon this time, and Sejin replies it's Fatty and 40 guys from Imul High. She says that Imul High will win and Sejin asks what makes her so sure about it. She says that Neon Mask has 4 mods including the new mod with name Rage. Other than that he has got editors with him, so that makes it 9 people on his side. Out of his 9 members, Joy, Sorrow, and 2 others aren't key fighters because of their physiques. Sejin asks how she knows this much and she replies it's basic knowledge. She also predicts that the fight will take place at the redevelopment complex. Sejin asks how she's so sure about that. She replies that the fatty will try to get the upper hand in any way possible. They will set up a trap and wait for Neon Mask. When he shows up with his team, they will jump on him. Neon Mask is good at acting invincible but he is not invincible. If he has to win, then he has to fight at a location that puts him at an advantage. Or he can hope that by some miracle he takes them all out. If he fights and loses then it will affect his channel. The best thing to do would be to take care of them before the stream. She says he must be itching to join the fight, but if he gets involved in it, she'll drag him out of there and kill him herself. The scene shifts to Fatty looking for the keys to his home. He's unaware of the fact that a person is standing beside and he tosses the keys when Fatty finds it. He looks down and wonders what his key doing on the ground. Neon comes from the shadow and asks if he likes it. Since he takes forever to find his keys, so he made a copy for him. Fatty gets terrified and asks if he came here because he can't win in the upcoming fight. Also, why he has his keys, he'll call the cops for it. However, Neon shuts the Fatty mouth with his finger. The guy who made the key said, he threatened him before and broke into his home. Now, that keymaker wants him to handle this quietly. Neon makes fun of him saying it's just a joke, there's no point in doing anything to him if it's not on camera. He's got a suggestion for them, they have been talking about that place to fight. So, he wants to remind them that the police won't be able to get there easily. It would be better if he changed the location. Fatty asks if he's scared to face him there. Is he panicking because he can't win? Unfortunately, they won't change the place. If he makes him beg to change the location, he'll humiliate him on the stream. Neon leaves him and says they'll see who will win. At the hospital, Sejin visits Sumin. He's happy to see his right eye recover fast and Sumin is glad too. He asks how long will he have to stay here and Sejin tells him not for long. Sumin grows serious and asks him about Neon's last stream. Did he tip-tay off? Sejin declines and thinks he might have been caught for working as a mod. Sejin says that Nopagu bullied many people, so maybe someone reported him. He further asks what he thinks about the Neon Mask. Sumin replies he's a hero obviously, but he's a criminal in the eyes of society. Just like in comic books, there are bullies in real life too. Sejin also remembers reading his favorite comic and how he and his sister dyed out their hair. Sumin then shows him the Neon's Mask latest video. When Sejin looks at it he becomes astonished. The scene shifts to the flower lady closing her shop. She thinks that the stars look pretty today. She opens her mobile and sees a Neon Mask video on top. She decides to watch it. The video explains that there's an underage gang called Nopagu that controls the western districts of Seoul. They have cut down their activities since the last stream. Nopagu threatened store owners by demanding money and assaulting people close to them. Ever since they were featured on the last live stream, they thought police might find out what they are up to. So, they have been trying to hide from the public. The members are Daman at the top, and below him are Tae, Seonjil, and Fatty who lead junior members. Most of the dirty money is pocketed by the executives, and other members earn minimal wages, driving their hunger even more. Although police have stated they will do something about it, they still haven't done much. Students also insisted that violence in the school should be tackled and that Neon is standing for them. Suddenly, an ad shows up featuring Rage's merch, and Sejin thinks, when did they do that? Recently, Fatty teamed up with Imul High and declared war on Neon Mask. They have chosen their desired location, giving them an advantage. After careful consideration, he decided to choose a date and time for it. He choose a week ahead at 6 p.m. at the location they choose. From the first round to the boss fight, he'll take them all by himself. Sejin becomes horrified and wonders what Neon is thinking. Fatty is also telling the same thing to his boys. It will be them versus Neon Mask. They need to wait a few more days and then Yunho can get his revenge. On hearing Neon's name, Yunho punches Fatty in anger. His friends try to calm down the gorilla within him, and he grows frustrated with such a long wait. Fatty tells him to calm down as Neon doesn't know this area very well. It doesn't matter how many guys they bring on, they can pick them one by one. Gorilla gets annoyed and kicks Fatty. He tells him not to show his ugly face until Neon Mask is taken care of. Fatty agrees, but deep down he curses Yunho. His friend asks if he's taking revenge for his cousin. Gorilla gets annoyed and tells them to mind their own business. He's in a terrible mood right now and they should get lost. The friend discusses how this gorilla is a lost cause, and Fatty and Daman are using him to fight. If they try to stay out, that gorilla will jump on them. He wishes that he graduates and gets the hell out of here. Suddenly, a group of men arrive in workers' uniforms and wonder what some high school students are doing there. They tell them not to worry as they are demolition workers, they will have a quick look around and leave them alone. They won't tell anyone they were here, and in return, they'll not get in their way. Later, Fatty assembles all his members. Daman welcomes Gorilla into his headquarters. He can drink as much as he wants here. Gorilla asks why that Fatty came running to him crying, did Neon Mask beat his ass too? Daman explains that he was made fun of twice in Neon's live stream and Tae has also been taken out. If he could crush Neon just this once, he would be grateful. Gorilla asks what's in it for him. Daman tells him not to act like that. If Neon Mask destroys Nopagu, they will come for him next. Also, the reward for beating him has also gone up, it's now $4,300 while his cousin was worth $1,000. Gorilla gets up and Daman tells him to sit down, they won't gain much from fighting each other. Outside, the bullies talk if they have to fight there, it's like a hornet's nest. He recently saw a UFO there, but the other tells him there's a freaking airport nearby. Fatty tells them to quit the crap. The bully says if the Fatty messes up, they will come for them instead. However, Fatty assures them that everything will be fine. Fatty thinks he could join Trollfam if he can take out Neon Mask. Inside, Gorilla calms down and Daman says they are like criminals. There was an old lady, who used to complain that they smoked in front of their house. So, they smashed her windows, made prank calls, and threatened her kids. After that, she developed a panic disorder. Last year, an old man got on his nerves, so he pushed him aside. Due to that, his bones were fractured, and was barely able to walk. One student developed a fear of people because they bullied him to the extreme, it's his fault that he was weak. Neon Mask is denying their right to freedom and he should be crushed. He asks Gorilla to help them and set them free from Neon Mask. The day of the live stream soon arrives, and the Fatty gathers his 40 men. They heard someone fall and see Neon Mask on the floor. They wonder if he's dead. Before the start of the stream, Neon uploaded a video on his channel, showcasing the gorilla's strength. A streamer girl says they will play Neon Mask's fan game. Before that she talks about Neon's recent video. She was amazed to hear that Neon would go against 40 people alone. The gorilla didn't flinch when Neon hit him and it could be difficult for Neon. The chat starts going wild with comments and she tries to calm them down. Today, they will also check the new Neon's merch as well. She conducts a live vote and 90% of people say that Neon Mask won't win. The scene shifts to Jihyo bringing food to his members. Sejin thinks that it's insulting to sit idle here. He asks why she's suddenly giving her taffy and she says it's good in carbohydrates. She explains that the medical team, mod team, and drone team are all on standby. She also turns on the drone feed for them to watch. On the other hand, Fatty asks if they have got all the boys. There's one entrance to this place and when Neon comes, all of them will jump at him together. They will beat his ass and then take him to the gorilla. A bully dreams about getting famous today while the other bully tells him to move his ass. Fatty starts his live stream and the viewers make fun of him. Jihyo also starts the countdown for Neon's stream. Sejin asks if he remembers what he said yesterday. They should leave the cleanup to them. He can go as wild as he wants. The message pops up for Neon's live stream starting and everyone gets ready for it. Suddenly, someone plays music and the bullies wonder where it's coming from. Neon welcomes his viewers and honors Fatty's hard work for gathering 40 bullies here. He asks them if they know the difference between him and them. The bullies say it's money, but Neon says it's the sense of justice. Suddenly, Neon falls off the stage and the bullies wonder if he's dead. A bully goes to check on him and someone tosses a smoke grenade at him. Neon pulls out more smoke grenades and says this is intelligence. Inside the van, Jihyo tells Sejin to watch closely as he has never seen Neon fight properly. The bullies wonder where he went and Neon comes out of the smoke and punches a bully. He deals with 2 bullies and says the show is just starting. Bullies wonder where Neon Mask is while some get their noses broken. The bullies wonder how he's already here. The fatty told them he was gonna come in through the entrance, and Neon replied he did come through the entrance. He told them he'd fight at 6 p.m. but never said anything when he would get here. He got here early in the morning and felt tired and lonely. He was cold, hungry, and smelly. He tosses 2 more smoke grenades and asks if hanging out here makes them happy. Sejin wonders if Song stands a chance. All the past day, he just stayed in his room. He also asked Lee if Song had mastered some sort of extreme martial arts. Lee says he's not sure if it's a martial art, but tells him not to worry. Neon says if he's going against 40 pussies then he'll find a way to win somehow. He drags a bully by his head and says they are screwed. The drones take live shots of things happening down there. Fatty is screaming at his boys to pay attention. Earlier, Gorilla received a phone call from his cousin, asking why he was doing this. It's pissing him and Neon will kill him if he continues it on. Gorilla wonders why he was acting so scared. He snatches the phone from Fatty and tells the boys to listen up. He says that whoever gets taken down by Neon Mask won't show their faces at school. Fatty says that it's the streaming phone and viewers wonder where this gorilla came from. On the street, Neon is taking bullies left and right. He sees his next target and approaches him. The boy says they don't want to fight him but are made to do so. They were following the gorilla's order and Neon makes fun of him for being a piece of trash. He says if they were forced to challenge him with 39 other guys, then they should have crushed that gorilla instead. He smacks the bully and asks if they don't have brain cells to think about that. The bully asks why they are struggling against one guy and the boy says because he keeps hiding in smoke. The bully rushes through the smoke and Neon asks what's his problem. He sidesteps and tells him to stop charging like a bull. The bully hits another bully and Neon thinks they really are idiots. Sejin says that Neon is wiping them quickly and Jihyo says he'll reach his limit soon. She asks Pleasure if he installed the app and he replies yes. Neon wonders why there are still so many guys left and wonder if another neighborhood joined them. He can't do this anymore and tells Joy he's moving to phase 2. Saro slams his fist and tells her to think about their situation. This is Nopagu's territory and if they order something from another company then they might figure out who they are. However, they ignore Saro and keep fighting over the food. Jihyo tells him to shut up. She was going to go easy on him but not anymore. They will eat what she orders today. Pleasure also says that this isn't the time to talk about something like that. It's his cheat day today, so at least let him order something he wants to eat. Saro asks if everyone has gone crazy here. Park says they could do anything but shouldn't break the van. Sejin tells Neon to listen carefully. Neon thanks him for paying attention. But Sejin says that Joy wants him to pay an extra $18 for a meal. Neon asks if all of them are dumb enough to even hear him out. His last smoke grenade runs out and he becomes worried. The bullies spot him and say it's time to get him. He informs his mods that they are moving to phase 2 whether they like it or not. They advise Neon to keep running. They'll soon end up getting split into groups of lazy, slow, and fast guys. If he wants to reach Gorilla, then he'll have to force others to give up the chase. He'll need to focus on taking out the fastest guys first. Jihyo says they'll also make sure to target the quickest guys first. Pleasure in the background says he has ordered 5 packs of noodles. Neon asks if they haven't eaten properly and tells them to focus. Sejin asks what's phase 2 and Saro explains it's street assault, it's Neon's area of expertise. Neon turns around and grabs the wooden plank from the floor. He uses it to smash the bullies and throws all 3 of them into the sewer. Saro says it's a tactic that originated in the early 90s and was used in turf wars in countries with high crime rates. Since there weren't enough guns and ammunition for the gang's fight, one gang started developing tactics to take out the armed opponents with bare hands. Most people think that martial arts, weapons, money, or whatever they can get their hands on can be used as weapons.
Does he want to know what weapon Neon will use, or more importantly how long will he last? Neon deals with 3 bullies at once and viewers didn't expect this would happen.
He's running completely wild and feels that this is the badass Neon Mask they all rooted for. He's like a berserker on the battlefield, the king of carnage. They wonder how he has so much stamina left. Any normal person would be breathless by now. Rumors start circulating that he's a former pro athlete. Before Neon went on a carnage against 40 folks, Tae watched the fatty challenging Neon publicly. He thinks that fatty is a stupid moron for getting himself involved in this. He gets up for the bathroom and sees Neon sitting on the couch. Tae freaks out and wonders what he's doing here. Neon tells him to calm down, he isn't here to beat him up. Tae asks then what brings him here. Neon says that someone from his channel will be here soon. When they get here, he wants him to tell them everything he knows about Daman, Fatty, Nopagu, and Imul Hai. If anything he tells doesn't turn out to be true, he'll come at him himself. Tae says if Daman finds out he's helping him he'll be stuck in the gray area. Neon says that's not his problem. He sighs and asks if he wants to do anything with his life. After a bit of hesitation, Tae replies he wants to run a shopping mall in the future. Neon finds his desire interesting and flips through his small diary. He takes out a card and tosses it over to him. He tells him to learn some business from this person once he apologizes. If he tells them he recommended him, they'll teach him a bunch of stuff and give him a part-time job. It's up to him if he wants to be Daman's minion or his informant. Tae agrees and will tell everything. Neon leaves and says he made the right choice. Tae stops him and says that the gorilla Fatty recruited is on the same level as Daman. No matter how strong his team is, taking them on is hard. Neon says he's too slow, the stream's already over. Tae watches the stream and in it, the bullies talk about going home. Another bully tells him to pretend looking for him. If Gorilla finds out he'll be pissed off. Suddenly, the bully senses something inside the garbage and wonders if Neon's in there. He moves the stuff away and Neon gives them a jump scare. He punches him from the bin and sends him flying. Neon comes out all dressed and says their favorite Neon is here. The second bully makes fun of his getup and Neon punches him in return, saying there's no difference between his clothes and theirs. The bully hears some noises from downstairs. When they inspect the noise, they find Neon there. Neon removes his getup and makes a run for it. The bully tells others to block off the other side, but Neon jumps over it in time. He tells others to go around and beat him. However, Neon says there won't be a need for that and slams the door, knocking the bully out. Fatty grows scared and makes a run for his life. The viewers make fun of him for being a coward. Daman calls Fatty, saying it's fine. He just needs to wear him out, but Fatty replies that there aren't many guys left. He might beat Gorilla as well. Daman says he's getting on his nerves and asks who's more scarier, him or the gorilla. If he's saying it's fine, then it's fine. He should do his job of keeping him busy. On the roof, Neon throws a sledgehammer at bullies, confusing them, and the handles smack both bullies. One says his jaw might be broken while the other says he won't be able to speak if it was broken. Neon jumps down from the roof and bullies look down from the edge. They look around on the ground floor and wonder where he's hiding. Neon grabs the lone bully and slams him through the metal bars. He asks if he is looking for him. Neon rams the window on his hand and he cries in pain. Other bullies, afraid, run away from Neon. Neon chases them and kicks the trailing bully. He uses hit and run strategy, and runs upstairs. Other bullies follow him and come to the roof. Suddenly, Neon jumps off the roof and says he'll see them later. He parkours down the building and starts running again. Sejin wonders how he figured out the layout of this neighborhood. After he dropped him home, he just stayed in his room the whole time.
Jihyo asks if he noticed anything weird when he was taking him home last time.
Sejin says he seemed fine but walked into a pole for no reason. Jihyo says because he took anti-nausea medicine. Sejin remembers seeing it with him. His body might have been at home last week but his mind was somewhere else. In his head, he was right there. Earlier, Jihyo walked into the studio and found Song muttering something to himself. She kicks him and asks why isn't he listening. Song says the fatty name on seeing Jihyo. Jihyo grabs him by the throat and Song apologizes for it. She cooks a meal for him and says she is amazed by his ability to focus. If he had applied it to his studies then he could have gotten into any university. Song says the same for her, she could be studying instead of cooking meals for him. She tells him to shut up, if he keeps taking anti-nausea pills on an empty stomach, he'll get knocked out for good one day, then who will pay her fees? He should at least try to eat properly while he's still alive. Song thanks her for the food and takes his pills.
Inside his room, Park informs that he has uploaded a 360-degree video and a 3D map of the area, and Song thanks him.
He says that technology has come a lot further, and they can make maps using toys. Siha corrects him that these aren't toys but drones and 3D scanners. He has paid the company and they had a hard time measuring it, so he should thank them as well. Song agrees and takes out his glasses. He puts on his VR and says it's giving him nausea. The world transforms into 3D and he practices in it. Sejin looks at Neon fighting and understands that street assault just doesn't mean physical strength but the ability to take advantage of the environment. Neon soon reaches Fatty's hideout and waves at them to come out and play. Gorilla shoves the Fatty away from the window and sees Neon. Sejin remembers his sister's word that Neon Mask is good at acting invincible, but he thinks she's wrong. He doesn't act like he's invincible, he only pretends he can beat them. Neon asks if aren't they coming down, or does he has to come upstairs. At the van, Park says he's heading out for a bit and Jihyo tells him to watch for Muwon patrolling his area. He closes the door and wonders what she wants him to do. Muwon doesn't listen to him anyway. Neon asks what are they waiting for, his legs are hurting so they should hurry up. Sejin and Pleasure remain amazed to see Song getting past 40 guys. He has been running around for an hour but doesn't even look tired. Jihyo says he's probably at his limits but he's trying to hide it. Neon tells Joy to recall drones one by one. Once they are out, she should switch to rear cameras and get ready to change formation. Suddenly, someone throws bricks at Neon and he evades it. Fatty is the one tossing stuff at him and Neon calls him low-life piece of trash. Suddenly, Gorilla comes from the side and punches Neon. Sejin gets worried while Jihyo stays calm like it's usual for him. Gorilla asks if it was fun beating a bunch of losers, and Neon says it's his fault that those guys got beaten up. Neon tries to punch Gorilla, but he doesn't budge and kicks him instead. Neon staggers on the floor and Sejin asks if they should go there and help him. However, Joy asks him a question, does he think he's tired or tired of pretending? She has no idea and Sejin asks if that doesn't worry her at all. Saro says that Neon is on the move again. Gorilla asks if he's trying to pull the same crap, trying to tire him out before taking him on. Neon hurriedly looks to his sides to find something. He finds a cargo and goes inside it. Gorilla thinks that he's getting desperate now and follows him. Inside the cargo, Neon stretches himself and Gorilla says there's nowhere for him to run now. Neon gets up and says he needs to focus. Suddenly, someone closes the door and Gorilla looks back. It's Park who does this and tells them to have fun in there. The gorilla screams at the person to open the door and Neon punches him in the head. He tells him to pay attention to him not outside. Neon unleashes a fury of punches and Gorilla has a tough time dealing with it. He thinks that somehow his punches are much stronger now. When he encountered him last time they were weak. Gorilla punches Neon in the face but he doesn't budge. Neon remembers his past self talking about avoiding him in a fight if possible. This also reminds him of the time when he wished he was a bit stronger. He was going with a person for a delivery. The man suggested he should have stayed at home if he was tired. However, Song says he's grateful that he's giving him work. The man gives him a cart but Song thinks if it's just flat-pack furniture, so carrying them around shouldn't matter much. Since they have only one cart, he can use it while he does a few trips. The man thinks it would be nice if he stuck to athletics at school. He then met with one of his sister's friends. She suggests his sister get into a cram school and she could avail a discount for her. Later, Song discusses it with his sister about going to cram school but she calls it ridiculous. He should instead eat food and go to sleep as he has work at dawn. She tells him not to worry as she'll get a part-time job as soon as she gets old enough. Song thinks that he has taken care of cram school but still needs to deal with her college fees. Even if she works hard enough for a scholarship, he isn't sure if they'll pay for her accommodation as well. She'll also need an allowance to hang out with her friends. He greets the man, saying he has come to work here. At work, Song does his best to carry heavy boxes. In the present, he blocks Gorilla's attack and says that he's pretty strong himself. Neon had already set up a camera there and it streams everything. Park comes back and asks if they have finished eating. Neon's editors are in another van and grow tired of the Muwon saying the same thing. She tells Jaitai to stop listening to Muhawan's BS and get to work. At the building, Fatty is panicking. He thinks if Gorilla gets knocked out then he's next on the line. He wonders where he should run away. If he goes down and runs into Neon Mask, he'll beat him. The viewers make fun of him and he tells them to shut up. Seeing Fatty get angry they make more fun of him. Fatty tells the boys to get to the construction site as Neon's already there. The bully replies they are not his dog and regrets coming here. A bully takes a brick and tries to smash it at Neon's editors. However, he gets punched in the face and Pleasure throws him away with pleasure. The bullies get stunned and the editor tells them there's an ambulance at the entrance. Other editors are dealing with bullies in other areas. They tell them not to drag it out anymore as it's already over. The bullies try running from another way but get blocked by some people. They tell them to get out of the way but Saro fires sticky liquid at them. Jaitai and Rage come forward and smack the bullies. Since they were asking about him, he's an editor. They are here for crowd control. Inside the cargo, Gorilla and Neon are exchanging blows with each other. Gorilla charges at him, but Neon dodges it and attacks him. He pushes him back and kicks him as well. He gets on top of him and starts smashing his head. Gorilla grabs his jacket and throws him away. Neon's mask breaks and he puts in his finger and breaks it further to make room for his eyes to see. He says this mask was expensive and now he'll have to pay the price. Outside, Joy says that losers on their ends have been dealt with. The bullies got melted by the editor's compliment. Pleasure also says that things have been resolved on their side as well. The remaining guys are left to the last team. Sejin wonders how they ended up with all the aggro guys. Jaitai says they are pretty much like Gorilla. Saro says that's not the case. They got taken out by Neon Mask and want to take their anger on them because they are weak. Both Rage and Jaitai agree and get ready to fight. Jaitai beats every bully that comes towards him. Sejin is also doing the same and beats bullies who come at him. He tells them to take them all at once because they think they are weak. Saro steps up and says he should also do something. He fires at the bullies and tosses his grenade. The bullies say that their eyes are burning, calling it a cheap trick. Saro says why should he care about that, they are the ones who wanted to fight them when they told them to go home. In the cargo, the gorilla says he doesn't care if his mask breaks. He smacks Gorilla and asks if he ever shuts up. Is it that upsetting for him to get his ass handed by someone like him? Gorilla, annoyed, charges at Neon. However, Neon pushes him against the wall. He asks if this got his heart racing. He shoves Neon back but gets punched instead. He grabs his face and tries kicking it but Neon blocks it as well. Neon asks if hasn't he watched his videos. He jabs Gorilla with his thumb. Gorilla can't bear the pain and tries to run away from him. Neon says he's running out of time so he should get over to him. He asks if he's some sort of police for doing this to him. What's the reason for getting involved in this? Does he think he's some sort of hero? Neon asks him a question, does he throw away garbage because the garbage is clean? He's just a garbage bag that gets dumped in the landfill along with the garbage. He should know that if one of them dies here, no one will care about it. Gorilla, scared, says that Jinpa's got his back. Neon asks if Jinpa will really come to clean up his mess. Even if he keeps living on, there's no one waiting for him at home. They start sparring again and the cargo shakes violently. Soon, everything goes silent and Neon comes out of it. He falls down exhausted from all the fighting. Fatty comes out and sees Neon lying on the ground unconscious. He checks inside the cargo and sees the gorilla defeated despite his size advantage. He thinks he only needs to deal with Neon and thinks about crushing his head. Neon gets up suddenly and punches at Fatty's leg. Fatty rolls on the ground in pain and Neon says he's no shame, he has been sneaking around since earlier. He kicks Neon and makes a run for his life. Fatty calls Daman and says this is the time. Daman smirks and asks what's the situation over there. He explains that Gorilla got destroyed and Neon is completely exhausted. If they bring in more guys they will be able to deal with him once and for all. He says that everything is going according to his plan and Daman laughs at it. Earlier, Fatty comes in and asks where Daman is and Seonjil, the thief expert replies they are not here. Fatty sees some money and tries to take it. But the boy holds his hands and says this money is for her mom's hospital bills. Fatty admits he was going to steal it and asks what he'll do about it. He kicks the boy and tells him to mind his business. He says that Neon Mask is scared because of him. Daman won't be here forever so he should stop sucking up to him. Once Neon Mask is out of the picture, he'll finish Daman. Daman overhears all the conversation and tells his dear Fatty that he heard him saying he'll be finished when Neon is out of the picture. Fatty asks what he's talking about and Daman says they don't need a trash like him in Nopagu. So, he should go and get beaten up like that gorilla. Fatty runs for his life and Neon follows him behind. He asks if hadn't he learnt after watching Tae's stream. Daman won't be coming for him, so they should go somewhere fun instead. Fatty thinks he needs to call the police but his phone is dead. He thinks that all that streaming drained his phone energy. He panics and wonders what he should do next. He bangs on shop for them to open but all of them are closed. Everywhere he goes, he sees a sign telling what Nopagu did to them. Fatty suddenly sees a shop open and enters it. The lady welcomes the guest but sees a delinquent in her shop. She recognizes him to be from the marketing firm. He tells the lady to call the cops. He grabs her and threatens her to call the cops. The lady smacks Fatty with a bouquet and asks how could he swear at her. Neon enters the shop and Fatty grows terrified. He makes fun of him for getting whacked by a bunch of flowers. He charges at Neon but gets punched in the face instead. He never thought about using flowers as a weapon and wants to try it out. Neon gives her his card and says he'll pay for all the damage. On seeing the card she recognizes him. Before he beats his ass, he wants to ask Fatty one thing. What was he trying to achieve by running around and causing mayhem? Does he think if he sucked up to Imulhai and Napagu, the whole world would belong to him someday, or was it for fun? He wants an answer here as he spent a lot of money on this fight. Fatty grabs a flower while Neon says he got through 40 people and managed to take down the boss. He can at least tell him that much. Fatty throws the pot at him and says he should go to hell. He tries running away but Neon grabs him and throws even more pots at him. He didn't expect him to say anything, so they'll skip the small talk. He did his best to try and talk to him and now he had it enough. He uproots a tree and smacks Fatty with it. Is it too much for him to ask to leave other people alone? He smacks the Fatty more and then picks up a bag of fertilizers. He let them choose the location and how many guys they would have and had to deal with bullies who showed up suddenly. How much does he expect him to put up with this? He tells him to close his eyes or else he might regret it. While saying roses are red, violets are blue, life is shit and so are you, he smacks Fatty. Fatty begs him to stop and the lady stops Neon from going any further. He asks if she's trying to protect this bully who has been ruining her business. He'll pay for all the flowers and will even give the whole place a makeover. She must have suffered a lot because of them. The lady says she isn't protecting the bully but the flowers from getting harmed. Fatty suddenly pushes the lady away and Neon saves her head just in time. She apologizes and thanks him for it. Neon dashes out of the shop and looks for the Fatty outside. He wonders how could he run so fast on his short legs. He hears someone speeding up at him and sees Fatty coming at him with a vehicle and a weapon in hand. He tells him to die now. The scene shifts to Sejin entering the studio and asking where Song is. He asks if he's really going to fight Imulhai by himself. Jihyo says it doesn't matter, but Sejin insists that he couldn't take on 40 people by himself. He doesn't understand why he didn't tell them about what's going on. Jihyo says it's not a big deal and he should pretend he doesn't see it. He asks how could ignore something like this. She sends him an address and tells him to go there. He was asking a reason why Song's doing this, then he should go and take a good look at this girl's face. Sejin reaches the address and sees Song there, and they keep staring at Song's sister's photo. Sejin now understands why he has been so heartless and what he's trying to achieve. However, he's not sure about using the idea of revenge as a source of motivation. He feels like she would be doing well somewhere. That's why he's not out to get revenge but to protect other people. He wants to protect them regardless of where they live, how old they are, or whoever they are. Her sister won't be the last victim, and he'll take him down to stop that from happening. Song asks if he figured out what he wants to do and Sejin agrees to it. So, he should better be ready. He's not allowed to lose to someone other than himself. In the present, Fatty charges at Neon, and Sejin comes in clutch and kicks Fatty, knocking him off his vehicle. Soon enough, the stream gains huge popularity on YouTube. The video showcases Fatty and Gorilla defeated. A person is holding the tab and watches the stream. He thinks they finally got what they deserved. The scene shifts to Tae walking home. He's seeing his schedule for the upcoming week. He has a tight schedule with no breaks even on Sunday. He thinks he has so much to learn and shouldn't have fooled around all the time. Suddenly, Daman shows up and asks how it's going for him. He asks when he got discharged and was thinking about paying a visit to him at the hospital. He pats Tae's shoulder and says if he had watched the stream then he would have come over to him immediately. However, Tae thinks that Daman is outright lying. Neon told him that he invited Nopagu to rescue him. Daman says he has called Hyok and will hold a meeting tonight. Since Fatty got his ass kicked so he's looking for new members. They'll also celebrate his recovery and even give him a new bike. However, Tae says he's quitting Nopagu and Daman becomes serious. Daman asks if he's scared of Neon Mask and Tae replies he is. Daman grabs his shoulder and asks who's scarier, him or Neon Mask. Tae says he's scary because he has no idea what he'll do next, but Neon is scarier because he's willing to go far to punish bullies. He advises Daman not to pick a fight with Neon as they don't stand a chance. On hearing this, Daman becomes annoyed with him. He says if that's the case then he should die already. The scene shifts to Song and Sejin walking home. Sejin suggests that he get a checkup as after the stream he went down with a fever, but Song replies there's nothing to worry much. Suddenly, Song receives a text and gets shocked. They walk toward the pointed location and see Tae beaten on the ground. Sejin helps Tae get up and asks if it was Daman who did this. He also hit his head pretty badly. Tae also feels embarrassed. Song asks if that's all he has to say since he's a famous thug in this area, and Tae asks who is he. However, Song questions him, demanding an answer about how he feels right now. Tae says he feels regret. He can't imagine he used to be Daman's friend. He got homework from the CEO and if he works hard and graduates from school, she'll let him work for her company. He thought he could finally get away from this bullshit but couldn't. Tae asks if he's Sumin's friend and asks for his name. Sejin introduces himself and Tae apologizes for beating him and Sumin earlier. Later, Park also comes to the scene and calls the ambulance. He says that Nopagu is really the worst if they are doing something like that to him, who is trying to live an honest life. Song asks if Sejin is free today and he replies yes. Song tells Park to call a general meeting. Park asks if he wants to call all the mods and editors. But Song says he wants everyone. At Nopagu's hideout, Daman assembles his boys. A Trollfam's executive wonders why they need to be here, but Hyok says this will be fun. He has been itching to fight and wants to beat anyone who stands up in this small neighborhood. The boy says they will pick up a new executive, so they should raise their hands to volunteer. The bullies think that Tay and Fatty got destroyed, so they'll be screwed if they volunteer, but they can also get a bike for that post. The boy sees no raised hands and asks if no one has balls here. He says one more time and a bully hesitates to raise his hand. Suddenly, a truck blocks the exit and Daman wonders what is happening. A person comes out and asks if they are looking for someone good at fighting. Neon tells Daman to get his ass over here. He should forget the live stream and all that stuff, he's going down today. Behind Neon, all his mods and editors have assembled. Daman panics and wonders what Neon is doing here. The mods and editors charge at the bullies, beating every single one of them. Hyok gets all happy seeing some action and wants to join in, but his friend holds him from causing havoc. Some bullies get frightened and try to run away. However, a bully bumps into a tall man and gets thrown back. The men ask if they are the bunch of losers everyone was talking about. They are a disappointment. The man shouts that they only need to block the exit and they tell their leader to fight to his heart's content. Neon approaches Daman and the boy stands in his way with a knife, saying he'll cut him with this. However, Neon takes away the knife by hand, injuring himself in the process. He smacks the bully with the knife's tip and he gets knocked out. Next, he approaches toward Daman. Suddenly, Hyok calls out to Neon Mask and says to fight him instead. He introduces himself and asks if he remembers him. Neon tells his mod and editor to deal with him. Sejin, Joy, and Jaidai rush at him. Sejin gets surprised when he took hits from all of them. Hyok says he's also their fan and it's a pleasure to meet them. On the other hand, Neon grabs the table and flips it over on Daman. He steps on it and stomps Daman with it. Neon, while on top, says that it won't even take him 2 minutes to crush his pathetic little gang. Did he think he left him alone because he was scared of him? Then he should remember this, he's a nobody. When Neon was about to punch Daman, he sees Joy flying through the air. Hyok is the one behind it and he punches Jaitai next. He grabs Sejin by the neck and he thinks that he's too strong as if he's a machine himself. He slams Sejin on the ground and when he doesn't retaliate, Hyok calls him disappointing. Neon leaves Daman and says he's quite persistent. He can't even see his friend getting the shit kicked out of them. Hyok says Daman is not his friend. He just tolerated him because it was fun to watch a worthless crap try to claw his way up. Sejin thinks that Hyok is strong and fast enough that they were unable to react. He has also got endurance to take his kick, which means he could be stronger than Neon Mask. Sejin hopes that he doesn't spar with Hyok as he's on the next level. However, they have already begun their fight. Outside, the man and bullies fight one another. One man says they are almost done over there and asks how things are going inside. Saro replies that Hyok wants to fight Neon. Sejin helps Joy to get outside and she tells them to go back in and stop Hyok. Jaitai puts on his hat and asks if didn't she them get destroyed there. The only person who can stop him now is Neon and he might be too much for him. Inside, Hyok is about to fight with Neon but notices something unusual. He grabs Neon's hand and inspects it. Sejin thinks he managed to grab Neon's arm that easily. Hyok looks at his hands and says this won't work. His hand is bleeding and he suggests fighting when his hand is healed. 2 months should be enough for him to heal. Plus, he'll have to train more as well. When Neon asks him the reason, he says that after watching his stream, his moves can't beat him right now. He knows that as well. However, he shouldn't worry much about it, he just wants to fight one-on-one with him. He can choose the date and location. He'll personally take care of anyone who tries to interfere. Neon agrees to his idea and Hyok gets pumped up. Neon tells him not to get excited, he has a condition if he wins, and he whispers it over to him. Also, if he wins then he'll reveal his true identity. Hyok grins and tells him to hold his promise. Later, Joy grabs Neon and asks why he's letting him go. They could have crushed Hyok today. However, Neon says that's not true. Hyok is happy to fight and tells his friend he must be jealous of him. Neon also tells Joy that he's the one letting them go instead. Outside the Nopagu's perimeter, a man says that things are already taken care of and Sejin's sister smacks him. His lackey suggests going in there and dealing with them while the man says it would be awkward to step in. He tells everyone to head back. Sejin's sister notices Mod rage and wonders if he's her brother. However, she brushes it off and believes it couldn't be possible. At Nopagu, the bullies are searching for Fatty while he hides behind a building. The boy curses at Neon Mask for messing with them. A bully asks what will happen to Nopagu. Some say that Daman got completely owned today, and Nopagu might be done for good. No one expected that Neon would grab his team and invade their base. Inside the hideout, Daman rolls over the table. He gets up and sweats nervously. He remembers Hayek making fun of him and gets irritated. The scene shifts to Hayek explaining to the Trollfam head that Neon agreed to fight him one-on-one. The boss is amazed himself and asks what were his conditions. Hayek then explains to them the conditions he set. Another executive says that Hayek has completely lost it. Trollfam might shut down overnight if they do what he says. However, the head replies it's not true. Trollfam won't go down easily. Plus, he would also like to know Neon's true identity. Hayek will definitely win because he's the strongest miner in their country. They walk back while chatting with each other. After the yesterday's events, Song is sitting in his room. He takes out a letter and sees triple MMM written on it. This marks the end of the Season 1. Season 2 opens to the bustling city of Hong Kong. Someone watches Neon Mask streams and comments that he has reached 12 million subscribers. These folks are Continental Night and they talk about not losing to Neon and working harder. Suddenly, a person comes in and the masked man wonders if he left the door open. Nonetheless, he tells the man that they are closed. The man checks the photo and it matches with the person in front. The masked man wonders if he came looking for them by himself. The stranger with a sinister smile thinks about dealing with them. The scene shifts to Seoul's International Airport. A person informs Katrina that they have arrived. He instructs the host to send the luggage to the hotel and arrange a car for them. Katrina puts on her glasses and gets excited about what comes next. She thinks it has been a while and wants to visit Neon Mask. Song along with Joy and Park enters the hotel. Katrina greets them and calls Joy a Korean nerd. Joy also greets her as an American nerd, stating that her Korean lessons have paid off well. She asks Park if everything is great, and he replies he's having the best time of his life. Song also greets Katrina as her boss. They called them for a meeting but coming here was all that necessary. She points out that last year his channel reached 1.2 million subscribers and each video gained 3 million views on average. Now his channel has 12 million subscribers and he's still getting 3 million views. Joy asks if she traveled all the way here to spoof out facts. She'll gladly pay $4 for the fuel and they can go back. Katrina scolds Joy, saying that she's Song's boss and 10 years older than her. However, Joy says that she's just doing things in the American way. Amir tells them to get to the point or he'll blow up the channel remotely. Neon begs him not to threaten him like that. Amir puts up a suitcase and presents him with a new set of Neon's clothes. They are stab-proof and made from graphene. Plus, they are also bulletproof. Katrina asks if he likes it. Even if he got shot with a 9mm bullet, it will hurt like hell but at least he won't die. Song asks if she came all the way here just to deliver this. He pulls out the invitation card and asks the reason for sending it. She explains that a channel similar to them named Continental Night was taken out. Joy asks if they are serious. They are all students of a martial arts school. Song asks Joy to step out for a moment. The nervousness on Joy's face grows serious but she obliges with the request and leaves. Katrina explains that police arrived just in time, so none of them died, but still, they were beaten to the brink of death. She's certain that whoever did it wanted to make them suffer. Song asks if the MMM group is behind this. She's sure they were from MMM but can't figure out who took them out. Song asks if she's sure it was MMM and she agrees. They are an international criminal organization that uses teenagers. They are Trollfam's role model and the first organization to plan a street assault on his channel. They tried to recruit Continental Night at first but they rejected the offer. So, they attacked Continental Night to make an example of them. They want to warn those who try to mess with them. If they are reaching out to him means they have already contacted Trollfam. Amir explains that they either absorb existing groups and use them as local representatives or crush them if they don't cooperate. If he puts 2 and 2 together, then MMM will most likely get involved with him. Song sighs and says he wants to focus on Trollfam right now and asks if he can ignore MMM. Amir explains that even if they stop information from reaching MMM, they will still manage to track his channel by other means. Katrina learned her lesson after learning what happened to Continental Night and is pretending to cooperate with them. She came here to personally warn him after he received that invitation. Also, those bastards are responsible for what happened to his legs, they are ruthless. Katrina asks if he thought that his support wouldn't come at a cost. From now on, he won't be hunting bad guys but will also have to put his life on the line. If there are any of his team members who shouldn't be at risk, then he should send them away. It's time for him to pay the debt. The scene shifts to someone punching away the table in frustration. Turns out it's Daman and he's pissed off at Neon Mask and Hayek for making him miserable. He says that Nopagu will bounce back. One evening Daman was walking in the park when he met Gil. They talk about the condition they are in. They can't even extract money from the store owners now. They are just sitting in this park like losers. He blames Neon Mask for all of this. Daman asks what he has been up to and Gil replies he's going to school as he doesn't have anything to do. He says it's tiring to cover for his ass and Daman tells him not to worry as they will rebuild Nopagu. Gil says they will need bikes to bring in more guys, but Neon took them all out with a truck. Daman says they can still get more and Gil makes fun of him, asking if he'll buy with his money. Daman says that he has a secret weapon that Neon doesn't know about. Gil understands it and asks if he's referring to their thief expert. The scene shifts to the hospital and Song is getting his bandaged after getting hit by the knife. The doctor is Park's wife and she suggests him not to do ridiculous things. Song thanks her and Park also tells him not to push hard. She grows serious and tells Song to leave as they need to talk. She scolds Park for doing nothing when he was getting injured. Park tries explaining it, but she shuts him up. Song comes out and asks Joy if they should leave first. Joy asks if he'll take on MMM. Amir showed her the data and they are basically a syndicate. Is he ready to take them on? Song also felt nervous about it but tells her not to worry as he would not underestimate them. Joy gets up and asks when he began listening to her. Song doesn't say anything and thinks about what happened before. At the boxing place, Sejin is standing alone. He imagines the moment when he faced Hyuk. He tries anticipating his punch and retaliating, but feels that he's too slow and will get punched. Next, he tries kicking him, but Hyuk would have dodged it and charged at him in the stomach. He runs through more stimulation but can't imagine himself winning. He thinks that Hyuk is a monster. Sejin clenches his fist and doesn't want to give up. He thinks Hyuk is ranked first with GMK and is the strongest miner. No matter what he does, he can't see himself beating him. Also, the gap between his physical fitness and level of training is huge. Can he beat Neon or even Hyuk ever? Siha comes inside the boxing room and Sejin asks if he heard him. Siha says he didn't hear him but it was obvious what he was thinking. He asks what they should do next and Siha says it's very obvious. They are up against a professional fighter who is at least 6 feet tall and has spent his whole life training in different martial arts. If Song doesn't find a different way to fight then he doesn't stand a chance. Sejin also says how he thought about different fighting styles but couldn't picture himself beating Hyuk. Whether he thinks about charging at him, keeping his distance, or grabbing him, he's much stronger than him. He can match Song in terms of sheer strength but is outmatched on more fronts against Hyuk. Siha while practicing says they have someone who can match his strength, it's Song who has the street assault techniques. Sejin says that even though he took loads of Imul High people, they were individually weak. He believes that surprise attacks or drawing the fight long wouldn't work against Hyuk. Siha stops punching and asks him a question. Does he think that Song is the strongest on the Neon Mask channel and he's the next strongest? Sejin somewhat confused agrees to it. In that case, he only has one thing to say to him. He's actually the weakest in the team. Siha brings Sejin to an isolated construction place. Sejin asks if this is where they film Neon Mask livestream and Siha agrees. Song rented this place a while ago. While tossing a helmet, Siha says that they aren't allowed to make a mess in the gym, so he brought him here. Today, he'll show him why he's the weakest member of the Neon team. Sejin chuckles and agrees to the duel. He isn't offended that he called him the weakest member, but he would like to know why he thinks it like that. He tells Siha to bring it on. However, Siha brings his gun out, and Sejin wonders if won't they fight with fists. Siha fires at him at multiple points. The gas makes Sejin all teary and he crawls on the ground. Siha says that for him he has swapped his normal spicy bullets with super spicy bullets. Siha fires another round while Sejin rushes to take cover. He takes cover behind boxes and says he's taking it too far. Siha while tossing a grenade asks if this isn't sparring then what would he call it? What matters is that they win in the end. The grenade bursts and Sejin does his best to evade it. He grabs a wooden plank and uses it to shield himself from more projectiles. Sejin while taking cover behind walls thinks that he can't open his eyes. He tells Siha he has gone too far. However, Siha calls him naive. What will he do if his opponent picks up a weapon? What if they try to overwhelm him with numbers or ambush him? Siha prepares to deploy his drone while asking what he'll do if they face stronger opponents. Sejin says Hyuk asked for a one-on-one fight. If they show up with weapons or extra people, then Neon's channel will lose face. Siha asks if it's fair to fight Hyuk one-on-one when he has been training with the best fighters all his life. He needs to learn how to take advantage of street assaults. Currently, he's being too simplistic and limited. Siha launches a drone and Sejin panics on seeing it. He tries running away from its shot while complaining at the same time. Siha thinks that Sejin is just muscle and whines a lot. He asks if he faced anyone picky with their methods. He heard from Jihyo about how he wanted to stop Neon. The way he's right now, he can keep dreaming about it. He couldn't even touch him. Sejin notices a metal bar and thinks it will do work. He points at Siha and apologizes in advance if he breaks his drone. Siha grins when he sees Sejin picking up the street style. Sejin uses a container to parkour and leaps to the drone. Using all his might, he smashes it. The drone breaks down and soon Siha comes out with his gun. However, he doesn't see Sejin anywhere. He quickly goes inside to check but doesn't see him there either. He thinks about hiding his weapons bag so that Sejin can't use it. He then searches for him cautiously. He senses someone nearby and points his gun in the direction. Suddenly, something hits him from behind, but he blocks it. He compliments Sejin's smartness but says it won't be enough. However, instead of Sejin, a bag wobbles on a rope. Siha has been fooled and Sejin dashes at him from behind. He asks if this is what he wants. Siha just blocks his punch with his gun. However, Sejin says he already anticipated that and kicks him in the guts next. He then uses Siha's gun to fire at him. Siha cries on smelling the spice. Using the window of opportunity, Sejin punches him. He asks if that feels good now. He grabs Siha by hand and says not to take it personally. However, Siha brings out a grenade and tells him not to have hard feelings as well. Sejin curses at him and the grenade soon explodes, leaving them on the ground. While lying down, he asks Siha if he wants to eat something together. Later, Sejin treats Siha with a rice ball. He tells him to consider it as a lesson fee. He didn't expect him to use a drone to fire spicy bullets. Still, if he trains like this then he could stand a chance against Neon Mask. However, Siha disagrees with him. Sejin asks about how he met with Song. Siha explains he met him 2 months after the channel was created and Song came looking for him. He used to do some dangerous things and Song was the one who made him stop. The scene shifts to Song walking through the streets. He sees a kid trying to steal a bike. Song approaches him and says it is against the law. Suk explains that if he does this, then Daman will give him $8. Song asks what he'll do with the money. Suk replies he'll eat instant noodles with his mom. Song asks if he will give him the money then will he leave that bike alone. However, Suk interjects him saying Daman won't play with him anymore. Daman buys him sweet, pork and rice balls. He also needs money to buy his mom some medicine and a wheelchair. If he doesn't get her medicine, then she'll suffer. Later, the Suk's mother was waiting outside and she saw her son coming back. His mother asks why he's late, also his father isn't back yet. Suk shows her the fried chicken that his friend bought. She asks if Daman bought it for him but Suk says this one was from another friend. She's glad to hear that and is relieved he isn't hanging out with Daman. Song follows the boy to make sure he reaches home safely. The next day, Suk gets ready for school. Suddenly, Daman shows up and asks if he's going to school. Suk agrees as his mom told him not to skip school much. Daman puts his arm around him and tells him it's good not to worry his mom, but he didn't bring them any bikes yesterday. Suk says his friend told him it's against the law. Daman asks if he has a friend. Suk explains that he wears glasses and also buys him some fried chicken. Gil makes fun of him, wondering how could someone buy chicken for a loser like him. Daman explains stealing a bike is not a crime as he needs money to buy his mother's medicine. Besides, if he doesn't get those bikes he'll be sad. Is he gonna let him down like that? Gil also says that if he keeps attending school and his mother dies sooner, then it'll be his fault. Left with no other option, Suk agrees to bring some bikes today. Suk tells him not to cry and he'll make up for his mistake. He soon leaves and Gil makes fun of him, saying that an old geezer must have said that to him. Daman instructs Gil to watch that loser closely and find his friend. In the evening, Song treats Suk with some food. He even buys him food and tells him to share it with his mom. He tells him to go home straight away. But, Suk says Daman told him to steal bikes this time. Also, he buys him a lot of food and he's a friend. Song asks if he really considers Daman to be his friend. Suk ponders over it deeply and replies that he buys him tasty food, and beats up people bothering him at school. He's a nice person like him. Song with seriousness replies not to trust Daman and him as they are not good people. He shouldn't mistake them for good people for the sake of his mom at least. He feels sorry to say, but Daman is using him to steal bikes. Suk replies he already knows that. His mom told him that people can change and he believes Daman can become a nice person again. Suk notices Song's wrapped hand and asks how he got hurt. Song looks at his hand and says he was doing something bad. At night, Daman's goons are waiting for Suk to show up. Gil is also among the group and he's pissed off. They soon notice Suk walking home with another person. The bully comments that he looks like a loser to them. Gil calls Daman and says that he found Suk's friend. Suk's mother is waiting outside for him and she welcomes her son. He shows her the bag of food that his friend bought. She looks behind and sees Song bowing in respect. As he was about to leave, she stopped him. She takes him inside the house and he helplessly sees Suk playing with toys. She soon brings over food and tells him to eat as much as he feels like. She thanks him for looking after his boy. Song tries explaining but she continues that Suk started coming home late in middle school. At first, she thought he was having fun with friends. But then police came around and told her that he was stealing bikes with other kids. They made it sound like his son was the ringleader. Fortunately, the owners were forgiving and everything was resolved. But recently, she felt that he was hanging with the wrong crowd again. She asks for Song's help to keep him away from his bad friends. Song at first stays serious but agrees to her condition. Later, Song comes outside and walks back home. He stops when he hears Daman talking with his goons. They talk about how Suk's friend looks like a loser. Inside, Suk's mother asks how he met his new friend. The boy thinks about if he should tell her he met him while he was stealing a bike but stays silent. Outside, Song parkours over the building and reaches the top of the roof. Daman hears something around the corner and goes to inspect it. However, he doesn't find anyone in the alleyway. Daman replies that no one is there and Song hears them from the roof. Daman talks about beating the crap out of him for messing with their money maker. On the other hand, Suk describes to his mother that he doesn't know his name, and he didn't tell him either. He buys him lots of food and gives him advice as well. His hand was also hurt and it seems like he's always crying. The scene shifts to Song and Sejin getting ready to race. When the timer hits 0, they start running at full speed. At first, Sejin is ahead, but Song overtakes him at the last moment. They both panted heavily after the race. Sejin offers water and asks if he's still thinking about Suk. Song agrees. Daman has made him steal countless times in the past. It has become so usual that he does everything he says blindly. At first, he thought of driving Suk away from Daman, but it turned out Suk has poor judgment. He can't believe that he trusts Daman so much, just because he beats up the guys who used to beat him up. Sejin says that Daman is just like him then. Does he feel any guilt after seeing Suk? Song replies that instead of guilt he's more worried if Sejin, you would be able to stop him when the time comes. Sejin replies that first Siha was underestimating him and now he too has joined the party. He shows him the extra weights he has strapped on his leg, stating he will catch up to him in no time. Before leaving, he asks how he'll deal with Daman. He wouldn't give up without a fight. That day they weren't able to finish him off because of Hyuk. He regrets not humiliating Daman more in front of his crew. But as long as Daman keeps up that attitude and thinks he built the Nopagu, he won't give up. The scene shifts to Daman's temporary hideout. Gil asks what they were doing when Suk's friend came out. The boy tried explaining that they couldn't find him anywhere. When Gil doesn't get a good answer, he pulls out his knife and threatens him. One man gets annoyed with his BS and kicks him. Gil lands in a corner and the boy says they joined him because they would earn loads of money, but they haven't made anything yet. He shouldn't act tough as he isn't worth anything without a knife. He makes fun of Daman next for getting his ass handed over by Neon. Daman calls them a piece of trash and good for nothing. The boy gets angry and charges at him. Daman takes a metal ring and whacks the boy with it. The leader kicks him in the guts, but Daman grabs him by the shirt. He then body slams the boy into the table, causing him immense pain. Daman then gets over top of him and starts bashing his head. The other boy gets terrified on seeing this and Daman rises slowly after beating their leader. Daman then glares at him and approaches the boy. He slaps him and tells him to say something. Gil says that he served them right. Daman clenches his fist and says if Suk disobeys them once more, they'll kill him. The scene shifts to Park explaining that Suk could be given a part-time job even if he's a bit slow. He tells Song that Suk is a hardworking boy, and Song agrees. He went to work for Nopagu for his mom's sake, which makes him a bit sad. Song asks if his mother has a chronic illness, and Park replies that it's not that bad. Her health would only deteriorate if she doesn't take her medicine regularly. Song asks about the treatment and medical fees. Park replies that she doesn't have a rare disease, so treatment isn't expensive. However, the problem is that she's saving it for her son instead of for herself. Park says that's what parents are like. Song looks up in the sky immersing in the moment. Later, Suk dresses for an interview, and his mom says he looks smart. His mom suddenly coughs and he grows worried about her. Did she take the medicine? He asks. She replies it was just a little cough and nothing more. She's grateful that his friend with the glasses referred this place to him. Although he would be working on weekends, she preferred if he focused on his studies. Suk hugs her, saying he would troubled if she gets sick. Suk comes out while Daman is camping at his house. He grabs Suk by his shirt, asking if he's going on a blind date. Suk replies that his friend found him a job and he's going for an interview. Gil makes fun of him, saying no one wants to hire a loser like him. Daman says that if he needed money, then he could earn some in Nopagu. But, Suk replies he isn't interested and wants to earn lots of money. Right now, he's on the way to the interview. The hourly wage is good too and they only have to work on weekends. He suggests him to come along. Stealing a bike is not good and adults don't like it. Daman gets annoyed and punches him. Is this how he treats him now? How dare he lecture him life lessons? Suddenly, Suk's mother comes out and says what they are doing to her son. She slaps Daman for hitting her son. Doesn't he have shame for fooling her boy into stealing bikes? Daman gets annoyed and shoves her back. Suk worriedly goes to check on his mother while Daman gets more frustrated. Suk retorts, saying he won't steal bikes for a moron like him. Daman picks Suk by shirt and says he'll show who's the boss here. The scene shifts to Song eating food with Jihyo. Jihyo asks if he will start his special training once his bandages are off. Also, has he decided when he's going to fight Hyuk? Song replies he hasn't decided yet. She asks if he would be doing live streams then and Song replies that the studio will take care of it. Jihyo sighs, stating he's a big streamer and can't quit. Putting highlights and trap songs won't give him much time. Also, Katrina was furious that the channel wasn't performing well. Suddenly, Song's phone rings and he picks it up. Park informs him that Suk didn't show up for the interview today, so he went to check on him. When he got there, he found his mother collapsed on the ground, so he took her to the hospital. After hearing the news, Song puts down his phone and Jihyo gets worried. He quickly leaves without saying anything. The scene shifts to Sejin doing exercises in his room. He suddenly gets a call from Jihyo and he picks it up. She informs him that Song just ran off suddenly. She'll send him a list of potential Nopagu hideouts, so he should check them. Other team members are also on it. Sejin understands and hurriedly goes out. At Nopagu's hideout, Daman throws Suk in a corner. Daman lights a cigarette and says he didn't give him a choice. He can scream all he wants as no one's here. He stomps on Suk, asking where his courage is now. Did he forget his school life before meeting him? He was forced to drink rotten milk and had his money extorted by bullies. He was the only one who treated him with respect, and this is what he gets in return. He slaps Suk, telling him to say it one more time. Suk says that he hit his mom, but Daman says his mom hit him first. Suk says he doesn't want to be friends with him anymore. Daman too says that he doesn't want to be friends with him. Does he want to get beaten badly now? Suk starts crying and rolls over to escape from Daman. He starts running away while the cigarette falls on a newspaper. Suk goes inside a locker to save himself. Daman can't believe that he's wasting time on him. Gil suggests that they crush the locker and leave him inside for a couple of days. He drops the locker and starts jumping on it, telling Daman to join in the fun as well. Daman picks up a chair and tells Gil to move. They block the exit with the chair and suggest they leave him like this. Suddenly, Daman smells something burning and when he looks up, he sees that a small fire has started. Daman tells Gil to get Suk out right now, but Gil says they were planning to leave him here to die. Daman tells him to shut his mouth and get him out. Gil says if he's that scared, then he should do it himself. He turns around and exits the building. Daman tells Suk to come out if he doesn't want to burn to death. He soon realizes that the flames are coming closer and decides to ditch him. He thinks it was all Suk's fault and not his. While running downstairs he meets Song. Song coldly asks where Suk is. If he doesn't tell him, then he'll die. Inside the room, the flames increase more, and Suk crawls in fear inside the locker. At the same time, Saro inspects a place to look for the possible Nopagu hideout, but he can't find any. Pleasure also tells the same thing at his location. Similarly, Joy doesn't find him either. Sejin is looking after the potential spots too. He believes that the hideout must be near Suk's home. He stops around a corner and his intuition tells him that Song could be over there. At the Nopagu hideout, Song punches Daman. Daman falls back and Song follows it up with another kick. Daman tries attacking him but gets whacked instead. Song unleashes a fury of blows on him. He grabs Daman by the shirt and asks where Suk is. On hearing his voice, Daman thinks it's similar to Neon Mask. Then he looks at his injured hand which was caused due to snatching the knife from Gil. Daman asks if he's Neon Mask, and in return Song headbutts him. Daman staggers back and Song says that if something happens to Suk, then he'll deal with him personally. After that, he rushes to save Suk. Daman now completely believes that he's Neon Mask. Song bursts through the door and starts looking for Suk while covering his face. He finds furniture piled up in front and he kicks them. He starts pushing away the furniture and opens the locker with Suk in it. Suk has fainted from the fumes and Song carries him on his back. When Song tries to open the door it doesn't open. Turns out, Daman has locked the door. He says that he works very hard as Neon Mask. It was always fun running around with his face hidden. He and his loser friend should just die here. Song looks back and sees that the flames are rising rapidly. He carefully puts Suk down and gets into running position. He sprints toward the door and tries to bash it open. However, the door doesn't budge. He tries again and nothing happens. His arm gives up because of doing it repetitively. Daman from outside says that he's pathetic, he can't even bust a door. He will be heading off, so enjoy there. Song remembers the moment why he became Neon Mask in the first place. He tells Daman that he has something to say. Daman asks what he wants to say. Does he know why he didn't keep a bounty on him? It's because he's not good enough. The 4 highest-ranking members of Troll Fam are Daniel, Hyuk, Jae, and Min. They have everything they want, so why did they bother bringing a loser like him? He must know what Troll Fam thinks about him. He's just a miserable human, a scumbag who walks the path of a vermin. It seems that he didn't remember how things went for him when they faced each other last time. Whether he's part of Troll Fam or not, he'll be nothing. Daman gets irritated and says he can't lose to someone like him. Song tells him to open the door and test his luck right now. Daman was almost about to open it but paused. He congratulates Song on a nice try. Why should he open this in the first place? Suddenly, Sejin comes in and punches Daman. He heard that he got his ass kicked by Neon, so went around looking for him. He's now kidnapping people and setting them on fire. Sejin pretends he doesn't know Song and says he'll get him out of there. When Daman looks back, he sees Sejin standing there. Daman wonders if he's related to Neon too. Sejin presses Daman to hand over the key. Daman grins and asks if he's Neon Mask's sidekick. Sejin, annoyed, tells him to shut up and hand the key over. Daman taunts him with the key and asks why should he give it. Sejin gets serious and replies that he's stronger than him. Inside the room, Song is struggling and coughing in the fumes. Outside the room, Sejin is beating the daylight out of Daman. When he came here, he heard Daman talking about trapping both of them. But he can't understand how he figured out that Song is Neon. He needs to make this quick. Daman punches Sejin and asks if everyone treats him like trash. Sejin spits and says he talks too much. Daman grabs a bottle and rushes toward Sejin. He smashes it at him, injuring him. At that moment, Sejin remembers visiting the place where Song's sister's memories were placed. Sejin says that people could die because of his actions. Daman says that he knows that very well. Sejin thinks that Neon Mask's behavior, his excessive level of obsession, and violent tendencies, all make sense to him now. He understands why this is the only thing keeping him going. Sejin dashes forward and evades Daman's attack. He headbutts Daman and punches him away. They then start sparring with each other, with Daman getting beaten. Sejin jumps up and sidekicks Daman. Daman finally loses consciousness and Sejin searches him for keys. He finally finds it and opens the door. Suddenly, Daman comes back and kicks him. As the opportunity presents itself, Song grabs Daman's neck and takes him inside the room. Sejin worries about what Song will do to Daman. He goes inside the door and sees Song choking Daman. Sejin tells him to stop. He sees Suk with a cloth covering his face and tells him to hold in there for a while. Daman soon loses consciousness, and Sejin hurriedly tells him to leave this place or else they will die. Song says it doesn't matter, once Daman recovers, he'll come after them. He sees them as worthless. Song keeps talking about going on a revenge arc, while Sejin tries to convince him to leave first. Song soon begins losing consciousness and Sejin gets worried. The scene shifts to the hospital where Song is hospitalized there. Park finally sits down and says he has got everything under control. He asks if Song has woken up and Jihyo replies not yet. Saro asks about what happened to the fire and Park replies he managed it somehow. His wife is looking after Suk and his mother. He has also sent Daman to a nearby hospital. Park tells Jihyo not to be hard on Song as Daman discovered his identity. Jihyo replies there's no use even if he knows. Park pats Sejin and says he did a good job saving them, and Sejin gloomily replies. Jihyo walks out as she couldn't take this anymore. Saro and Pleasure say they will get going too. They advise Sejin not to be too harsh on himself and get some rest. Once they have left, he sighs in loneliness. Jihyo comes back and asks if hadn't he left earlier. She expresses her gratitude for what he did today. Sejin replies there's no need. She thought they were prepared for a situation like this but it was all in vain. What would have happened if hadn't he found them? Later, Song finally wakes up and watches his stream. He remembers the time when he turned into Neon. He thinks he needs to fight fire with fire. The next day, Sejin and Pleasure wait outside. Pleasure tells him to go and eat something, while he waits here. Sejin remembers the angry face Song made and says he's good. They'll eat once everyone gets here. He's not feeling great, especially when he has to monitor a friend. He asks if didn't that bother him. Pleasure replies that he was originally recruited to keep an eye on Song. Soon enough, Song comes out and he asks what they are doing here. Sejin says he's finally up now while his stomach grumbles. Song says he must be keeping an eye on him even though he's hungry. Sejin asks where he's going especially in that clothes. Later, Jihyo talks with Katrina about Song. She says there's no point in attaching a GPS tracker to his mask. What will they do if he takes off his mask and leaves his phone behind? Saro suggests putting an ID tracker under his skin, but she says he isn't a stray dog. Jihyo suggests that she track Song with a satellite if he disappears. Katrina asks if she has lost her mind. Renting a satellite is very costly. Jihyo insists on doing things like that and Katrina replies they aren't CIA or something. Jihyo says she wanted to deal with Trollfam at last because of this. Katrina suggests sharing information when Song goes somewhere. Soon, Song comes in and greets Siha and Jihyo. Siha asks why he left the hospital so early. Song replies it's simple, there's no time to rest. They will be soon streaming the Nopagu's special feature. In an alleyway, Daman is walking alone. He thinks he knows what Neon Mask looks like but doesn't know where he lives. Some guys watch Daman from around the corner and nod in agreement. While Daman stays busy in his thoughts, more guys show up in the back. He wonders what the connection could be between all of them. He should ask Suk about where Neon lives. Suddenly, loads of guys stand in front of Daman and he himself wonders from they all crawled out. The scene shifts to Suk helping his mother out of the hospital. She's glad that he's safe and his generous friend paid all the hospital bills. Outside, Park waves at Suk and hands him over his card. They could contact him anytime if they run into more difficulties. He knows that it must be hard for her and her son, and Suk's mother thanks him again. Park tells them not to worry, he gets paid by their boss to help them. She asks who their boss is and wants to thank him in person. Park says that his boss happened to run into Suk a couple of times and he wanted to help him because he seemed like a good kid. Later, Park informs Song that he did as he was told and Song says he got one more job for him. Later that night, Jihyo is walking home. She comes inside and relaxes on her sofa. Suddenly, she gets a call from Sejin and she asks what is it now. Sejin informs that Song is doing a live stream. She replies that they don't have one scheduled for today, and Sejin says that the stream has already started. In the stream, Neon greets his viewers as suckers. He has got some fresh content for them today. For the first time, they will keep streaming until they get shut down. Everyone's welcome to join him in today's stream. It's fine if they lose, but every time they land a hit on the target, they'll win $8. He doesn't care if they ambush the target, throw things at him, or attack him at home. As for the target, that is going to be Daman. Some viewers have conflicting views about what Neon is doing. Trollfam wonders why Neon is going on a full assault. This is different from what he normally does. Daman is surrounded by guys and he asks what they are doing here. Some boys make fun of him. One says that he doesn't know how Neon got to him but he stuck a deal with them. He has gotten quite popular and every time they hit him, they will be awarded $8. Some boys think that hitting him 1,000 will set them good for months. The boys think that they hit the jackpot today, while Daman curses at Neon Mask. Neon while squatting on edge thinks that taking Daman down would need some special methods. He asks what he'll do now. When it comes to being a scumbag, he's pretty sure he's worse than Daman. Daman thinks that if he stays here then he'll soon get surrounded. He needs to get moving. Daman faking confidence, asks if they all want a piece of him. Boys now understand why Neon chose him, he's not scared at all. Daman says that this is great, he had some business to take care of with them. He waves at someone, saying he's here. The boys look back as who it could be. Using the opportunity, Daman makes his escape. The boys quickly catch up with his plan and say he's running away. Soon, everyone rushes towards Daman. Viewers still have mixed feelings about what Neon is doing. Neon himself thinks that this is getting entertaining. The scene shifts to Jihyo rushing to meet with other mods. Sejin also comes in and asks if it's true that Song started the stream on his own. Siha says this is the first time, Neon didn't tell them about it. Pleasure says that they can't get their other teams ready in time. Jihyo understands it and asks Siha if his team is controlling the drones. Siha disagrees, suggesting that Neon might be doing it himself. She then asks Sejin if he knows where Song is. However, when she looks around, Sejin has already disappeared. Daman while running says that this is his territory and they can't catch him. He throws the garbage, slowing down his pursuers. Still, they don't give the chase and Daman admits they are quite persistent. Suddenly, he sees a few people on the motorcycle. While running, Daman instructs them to stop his pursuers. When they look behind, they see an angry mob running towards them. The pursuers say he must be with Daman and start taking them out. A boy says that they might earn money by punching these people as they are from Nopagu. However, the other boy reminds him that the money is for hitting Daman only. Neon can't have enough of this and enjoys it. Suddenly, Sejin barges through the door and tells him to stop right now. Neon puts on a happy face and says he knew he would come here, but how does he keep finding him? Neon tells him to view the stream and see Daman getting kicked. Well, what brings him here? Does he hate the way he's doing things right now? Sejin says isn't it obvious? Neon says that their coach told them to fight fire with fire. Was he under the delusion that they were good guys or something? Sejin reminds him that there are limits and he's taking things too far. Neon explains that one of his strategies is to gang up on opponents they can't beat alone. Sejin tries explaining that there are other methods to deal with this. He's stooping at a very low level and should stop. Neon replies he doesn't care about other ways, special people deserve special treatment. Which also reminds him that isn't he the one who will take him down. Sejin replies he knows how it will end for him. Neon says if that's the case, then how about he push him off this building? Sejin scolds him to get down from there and take off his mask. Neon asks what will he do if he disagrees. Sejin tells him to stop joking around and Neon asks if this looks like a joke to him. This is his only reason for living. Down below, Daman is running through alleyways, cutting through corners. It has gone so out of hand that a car had to stop for the passing mob. A boy wonders which delivery he should do next when Daman shoves him and steals his vehicle. The pursuers call him a piece of trash and suggest using a shortcut to cut him. The boy blocks Daman's path but Daman, without a care in the world, brushes past him. Suddenly, someone throws a bottle at Daman, making him go off balance and he crashes into a wall. Daman, injured, starts walking away. They can't believe he's still able to move in that condition. When Daman looks around, he meets a dead end. The boys say that he's here. People say he can't run away now. Viewers start believing that Neon has gone a bit too far on this one. Neon watches the stream and thinks he's not making this easy. Suddenly, Sejin grabs Neon and throws him against the floor. Since he isn't listening to him, so he'll settle things with him right now. They will go all out here and can go their separate ways later. Neon chuckles and says that's quite cold of him. The scene shifts to Daman getting punched by his pursuers. Everyone starts ganging up on Daman, and he shouts, "Don't you know me?" The boy smirks and says he's their moneymaker. At the rooftop, Neon asks if today will be the day he'll take him down as promised. Sejin agrees and says he should better be ready. This will be their third fight and he'll win this time. Neon punches him quickly before Sejin attacks him. Neon says he's wrong, this is their first fight. He has never fought the real him before. Sejin also thinks that up till now he has only fought Song. Does he turn into a different person when he puts on the mask? Facing him head-on feels kind of overwhelming. Now he understands how someone feels when they are up against Neon. When they first met, he thought of him as a nice guy, but then he turned out to be Neon Mask. He felt like he achieved something when he became a mod. When he started treating him like a friend, he thought he had gotten cooler. But there were also times when he was scared of him. He wondered what pushed him to that extent, and then he figured it out. That's why he decided to become the only person to stop him. Sejin starts thinking about using the street assault technique, breaking his mask, and other stuff. At that moment, Neon says that he's overthinking. He starts punching him, suggesting he pick his style first. Sejin feels his overwhelming strength for the first time. He starts attacking Neon while he evades every attack. Neon starts running away and Sejin asks where he's going. Neon uses the edge to dropkick Sejin. Neon then charges forward and both of them kick each other. Neon says that he must have trained a lot for this. Sejin agrees as beating him would have required him to grow stronger. Also, does he always have that expression under his mask? He doesn't know if he can defeat the darkness that lives inside him. But after he found out about his sister he keeps having a dream. A dream where he would have saved her sister's life and seen a relaxed Song living a peaceful life. Neon finally defeats Sejin and says he'll see him later. Neon says he's a good guy and should take care. He'll be leaving now. The stream's final clips showcase Daman getting taken to the hospital. The viewers find the stream discomforting for the first time. His channel loses subscribers from 12.2 million to 11.9 million. Later, that night Suk is heading back home. Neon, while sitting on edge, calls out to him and asks if he knows him. Suk replies he knows him, the famous Neon Mask. Neon says that Daman won't bother him again and he's letting him off this time. But if he ever sees him hanging out with that trash Daman, then he won't turn a blind eye to it. He needs to learn to pick friends more wisely, just like his mother said. Suk asks how his arm is and Neon pauses on this. Suk suggests he come over to his house sometime as his mum makes the best fried eggs. Neon leaves without saying anything. At the studio, Jihyo barges in, calling out Song's name. She inspects every room but can't find him anywhere. She calls at the gym and the coach says he isn't there either. She laments that he left all the stuff here. She then turns to Park and asks if he's sure that he doesn't know anything. Park tries to calm her down and says he doesn't know as well. Jihyo says she'll tell his wife if he's lying to her, and Park begs her not to do that. Song didn't tell him anything, he's upset as well. He thought Song would come to him for help but he didn't. Siha says that he probably cut ties with them as the future seems uncertain. Park asks if he took his equipment then can't they track him, but Siha replies he didn't take it. If it's something they could have thought of, Song would have guessed it too. Pleasure comes in and hands Jihyo a phone call. She screams at Muwan on the phone, saying that this was part of Neon's strategy. Muhawan asks if breaking promises with them is his strategy. He'll take pleasure with him, and if Neon ever steps foot in his neighborhood, then the recycling team will finish him off. Muhawan cuts the phone before Jihyo can say anything. She was about to throw the phone in anger, but Pleasure says it's his phone, not hers. She then asks where Sejin went now. Sejin steps in and Jihyo bursts at him. However, when she sees his bruised face, she grows concerned. Sejin asks if Song returned and Siha replies not yet. Park says he left his phone and all the stuff and has no idea what he's thinking. Sejin checks the drawer and sees that Song's sister's photo is missing. They wonder where Song went. The scene shifts to the top executive of Trollfam eating. Hyuk asks if the stream's true that Daman got taken down that badly. Min says that it suits him well. Every time he acted like he could win her over with money or something. June says that Neon is an attention seeker who thinks it's cool to be unafraid of dying. Hyuk says that they have an open spot at first managing executive and Lee asks to be picked for that spot. Working as second managing executive is tiring as he has to deal with weirdos. They ask Daniel what his opinion on this and he remains busy watching the last stream. Min asks if he's worried about something and Daniel replies he was thinking about Neon's method this time. He's similar to them in some ways but different in others. He wants to know what drives him to do this. He tells Hyuk to ask him this question next time around. Hyuk replies he won't answer such questions. Daniel suggests that he beat the answer out of him then, and Hyuk happily agrees. Suddenly, Daman shows up at Trollfam's place. Some people gossip that he still showed up after getting embarrassed all over the internet. Suddenly, Daman kicks open the door, and Hyuk welcomes him. He didn't know that he had been discharged already. Daman asks Daniel and Hyuk to get some strong fighters. He knows the real identity of Neon Mask and they'll get him for real this time. Hyuk laughs at this and Daman grits his teeth in anger. Daman says that he only needs a couple of guys. He'll take some people from school and hunt Neon Mask with it. Daniel asks why should they clean up his mess. It seems that he's misunderstood something here. Trollfam is not a cartel but a group that respects the influence teens have. It's not a tool to restore his pride. Besides, they have no interest in going after Neon Mask. June agrees with Daniel, they have nothing to gain by taking down Neon Mask. Daman, you are the one who acted like a gangster and got beaten up for it. Min says that Neon isn't picking fights with them. She also heard that Tae got reformed after getting beaten by Neon. Lee asks why he keeps picking fights with him, he has lost to him in every term. Daman tells Lee to shut up, he then says that he has done a lot for her, Min. She asks if he's referring to the gifts he bought with the stolen money. Daman gets irritated with her and brings out the bottle. Daniel asks if he's about to throw that bottle and Daman panics for a while. However, he throws the bottle anyway, saying he isn't afraid of them. Hyuk grabs the bottle before it hits Min, and June says that he's the worst type of person. Daniel also agrees, he's the type of person they hate the most. He tells everyone to leave and lock the door. They should also wipe all of the CCTV footage from this building tonight. The scene shifts to Song taking a shower and coming out of it later. He wears his clothes and Zoom calls Katrina. She asks if he likes the new place and he agrees. It must be lonely for him as he cut ties with his friends. However, Song says that he's fine. If they stay active in one area for too long then will find them first. If that happens then it would have been too late for them. He can't protect his mods and editors while fighting The same thing happened with Continental Night as they operated in a single place for too long. Katrina agrees, if and Trollfam join hands, then he could expect people like Daman running with machine guns. As she said, he'll have to deal with Trollfam by the end of this year. Katrina suggests another possibility of using MMM's strength to crush Trollfam completely. Song apologizes to her in advance as he has been considering that as well. He was wondering when they should meet them. The scene shifts to Daniel meeting with some people. They both shake hands and the man says he's pleased to meet him. However, he's a little late. For them, time is of importance and Daniel apologizes for it. His clothes got dirty so he needed to get changed. Earlier, everyone went out and locked the door as instructed. Min asks Hyuk if shouldn't he go and check on Daniel. Hyuk says he doesn't want to. His career as an athlete will end if he goes in, he'll come out once he's done. Hyuk asks Lee what his role is like as second managing executive and he tells them to leave it be. Inside the room, Daniel throws Daman away. Daniel while upping his sleeves says that he has 3 older brothers. His brothers were greedy and treated law and family bonds like delusions. He was sent to a country where he couldn't speak the language properly. As a result, he faced bullying and racism. The only person who could have protected him was himself. A few years later, he returned to Korea and saw that one of his brothers died. He hates people like him. Daman says he can't stand them either. People like him think they are much better because they have money. It's time for him to discipline the first executive today. Daniel says that he lost a neon mask, abandoned Tae, and got betrayed by Hyuk. A trash like him never knows his place. At the meeting, Daniel says to the man that he got late because he had to change into new clothes. Now, should they start the meeting? Oversees scout team. Daniel places the cup and says he doesn't understand what they are proposing to them. Is he suggesting that they traffic drugs in Korea through them? However, the man replies that's not the case, that's for professionals. He asks if doesn't Trollfam have a unique specialty, cultivating talents. He can export promising individuals from Trollfam through them. He could think of mafia, yakuza, organized gangs, and even terrorists. The demand is high. This is just a modified form of scouting members for criminal organizations, similar to the idol industry. Hyuk laughs at such a silly comparison. The man approaches for his wrapped object and Hyuk asks if he is going to take it out. Does he have a gun or something? Get it out if he dares. The scene shifts to Sejin looking over the scenery. Suddenly, Sumin spots Sejin while jogging. Sejin asks what he's doing here and he replies he's building stamina for studying. What about him? What is he doing here? Is he worried about something? Sejin replies that his friend has lost his way but he understands why. He was just thinking what he should do. Sumin says he wouldn't have let him go without saying anything. Sejin replies he's stubborn, beating sense into him didn't work out as he's stronger than him. Sumin laughs at this idea. When he first came to the school, he was afraid of everything. But he was the one who helped him out. Afterward, he kept talking even if he ignored him. In the end, he started hanging out with him. The teacher and class rep asked for his help when something happened. Suddenly, a person says that when someone loses their way then it isn't easy to bring back and must be dragged back as Sumin said. These are some wise words dropped by Tae. Sejin asks if he was eavesdropping from the start and Tae replies that he can't help because his hair stands out so much. He asks Sumin how things are going and he replies pretty good. Sejin asks when they got close. Sumin explains that Tae shows up at their shop to apologize and became a regular customer. They chat about the new things added to the menu and Sejin finds it comforting. Tae explains that when someone has lost their way and is alone, then they might go the wrong way if aren't approached in the right way. Instead of fighting him, try to talk with him. He can't be a bad person from the start. Sejin replies he doesn't know from where he should follow him. Tae suggests that he track him down, since he's a friend, he should know him best. Sejin ponders over the idea for a while. The scene shifts to Katrina talking about having the meeting with MMM in a neutral area. She believes they are already in touch with Trollfam and this would be interesting. Song worries just how excited she is and Katrina says they could talk about boring stuff then. The people attending are a recruiter and a bodyguard by the name of Wong. That person took down all 3 Continental Night members, so he's quite skilled. Unfortunately, if a fight were to break out, then he'd be killed on the spot. Song asks if he is that strong. They got this info from the Continental Night leader. He talks about how he never lost a fight in school and couldn't imagine himself losing against Neon. But the bottom line is if Neon takes on that guy, he'll definitely die. Continental Night leader explains how the fight went out. They all charged at him but they dodged their attacks. The leader asks how long he intends to keep dodging. The girl says that they will get fired from this job. The boy says that it can't be helped, they will find another one somewhere else. The leader finally catches him by the leg and pins him to the ground. However, Wong kicks the leader in the face. He gets some distance between them and throws out metal balls. The ball bounces off the furniture and they wonder what those things are. The leader wonders what these marbles are and why he's throwing them everywhere. He charges forward, saying he's messing with the wrong people. However, he stops in the midway. Everyone stops attacking and they wonder what just happened. Turns out that wires are holding them off. Wong asks what they think of it. He then extends his hands and throws more balls at him, enveloping his face. Just as he thought his street assault techniques were on another level. If Neon Mask ever runs into him, just tell him to run away no matter what. Neon can never beat him. At the studio, Pleasure apologizes to Jihyo but she says that it's alright. This was the condition they already discussed with Muwan. Pleasure insists on helping her but she suggests that he focus on volunteering work with Muwan. It was bothering her that the recycling team was fighting for them in the first place. Pleasure agrees but saving Song is also the right thing, he needs their help. Later, Jihyo brings her dad a coffee and he thanks her for it. The doctor allowed him to have coffee so it's better than drinking alcohol. He then asks how Song is doing. She replies that he's fine. He's a smart kid and is earning a lot of money. He has put that incident behind his mind and is doing well. Father asks if that is true. He weeps and tells her not to lie. He did something terrible to that boy. Jihyo says that it wasn't his fault, but he says she's wrong. It's all his fault that Song's little sister died in the accident.